What is up, everyone? Welcome to a very special, kind of a special edition of the AoS Trashpanda podcast. We are Carsonless this week. He's sick. He's on a bunch of drugs. He's high. He's delirious. So I asked him to just... Hey, you told me you weren't coming this week. Get out of here, you. Get out. Get out. I was going to say, okay, so it's just me in the meat dimension this week. I've got my boys, I'm hanging out in a pocket dimension with Skaven Tide. Not Skaven Tide, but with Skaven, with my homies, So I just wanted to have the meat dimension on in the background. But yeah, so we got a lot to get to.
You guys want some pills?
Nah! You got meat and pills?
I got meat pills. I got spam.
We have meat pills?
Virgo can't keep me down. I'm insulated in the meat dimension today. Just getting over my sickness, but it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be healed in time for 4th edition launching. My body is purging 3rd edition from my system.
Oh,
and only 4th edition matters now. So
I heard it's really hard. It's like hard to pass.
Yeah, it's a lot like a kidney stone.
But less
exactly like a kidney stone, to be honest.
That's true. But like slightly more painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hot.
And hot and sweaty.
But moving on.
But moving on. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm glad you liked our skit, Nick. I'm so hyped after these leaks. Yeah, so there's been a lot of leaks. We can't cover them because we are hoping to get onto the GW sort of program and whatnot.
I think we could talk generally about them.
For sure.
Redistributing war scrolls or anything like that
is crazy because there are channels out there that are selling leaks. Surely that's against the terms of service or whatever that they have, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine saying tip me to see the war scroll you want is gonna end up flying super well. But it's kind of crazy because so many, I wasn't trying to start off with another rant. I won't be swearing this time, but it's kind of I don't know, a few days ago Alex messaged me and he was just kind of so how does it feel, Rob, knowing that all the channels that don't cover Sigmar at all are getting all these things and they're being all fake and hype about it or whatever, and you've just all you do is cover Age of Sigmar, and yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Alex is in there. Yeah, you remember. I was just and normally I'm not one to kind of do that, but it's just kind of we've been covering AoS and only AoS. We're not we don't need to generate any kind of fake hype. I won't bring up who it was, but I watched a battle report and they were just oh yeah, I love Sigmar. And I'm you just don't even do battle reports with them unless there's a brand new edition because it's going to get you a bunch of freaking money. Anyway, and on it, and I'm, by the way, this isn't actually directed at any of the channels. If they gave it to me, no matter how undeserving I was, I would totally use it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just think there's something wrong with how GW figures out how to do it. Because we have a lot better views and stuff like that than a lot of the channels that have it, but they're stuck on it. Anyway, it's fine. I'm sorry. I needed to get that off my chest. I'm done. There will be no more rants. Maybe there might be more rants, but moving right along, Carson, my loopy friend Carson, did you see the rumor engine? Is that yes? Sorry.
Okay.
These are actually soil testing kits. It has nothing to do with
I thought they were. I thought they were bait.
Actually, I saw colorful pills on the table, and I was wondering let me show you how many different things.
You are coming back, right? He might not be back. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay.
But there's just tons of colorful pills just sitting on my kitchen table.
Man,
And
you
I'm like,
cannot leave those too close to the door. People will definitely call the cops on you.
I live on the first floor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my partner is just like, you gotta be like, even today, like a delivery driver like knocked on our window. It's like they saw
Wow.
that, then they think we're having a good time. They want to party with us, you know? Well, we don't
Yeah.
want that. We don't want no squares. Anyway, I'm gonna put this back.
You gotta put it back, or you'll get yelled at. Yeah, I knew someone, like a friend of a friend kind of deal, and he ended up suing the cops because like the SWAT team broke into his apartment because he had like a Nerf gun or something like that, and they broke his nose or whatever, and whatnot because someone called the cops. So yeah, be careful, my friend. Anyway, did you see? Okay, actually, one second. The chat has gone up too fast for me to read it. Your hype is real. Is very high. Yeah. The recent Seraphon. I haven't seen that yet. There was a Seraphon. I saw that there was a Seraphon versus Gitz one, and I actually heard really good things about it. Kenrick was saying he's a big fan of theirs. Oh, the stream got immediately deleted. Oh, shoot. Huh. That's crazy, because, like, it popped up on my feed. And I was like for a moment, I thought about using that in the thumbnail. I was just like, nah. I don't even know the guy, you know? But I can't imagine that ended well. Yeah. Some of you will remember we talked a lot about getting... Oh, yes, and screening whatnot. Long story short, mine led to them finding heart issues and just got home from quadruple bypass. Oh my God, Chris, I hope you're okay. I mean, I'm glad that you got that done and you know, you got checked out. I remember my dad had quintuple bypass, actually. I hope you feel better, man.
Wow, one-upping him and his time.
No.
No, I actually had 6 bypasses.
Well, actually,
because
because
7 though. Yeah.
I mean, there was a guy in the hospital with him, and he was supposed to have triple bypass, and he actually chickened out. He literally just went home. And
I guess that's a thing you can do, but I never even considered that. Like if you go,
no, I know, because
like,
it's
you
like
need this. They're like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah. He was too scared, and he went home, and it just kind of blew everyone in the room's mind that he was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. Just like, but you need to do this. He's just like, cool story, bro. I don't want to do it. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, we hope you feel better, man. I'm not sure. Better each and every day. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I remember it was not easy. So, yeah, I'm glad. My hype for the edition is high. My hype for Gitz, well, Trogs look decent. I mean, that's the way, you know, glass half full, right? We still don't know. Like, I know, like, a lot of stuff is leaked. Carson and I were just talking about it. Like, we're not going to bring up any of the leaks because, you know, we do want to get on that GW program at some point. But could we maybe reiterate what you were saying to me, Carson?
The big thing is I think it's fine if we generally talk about what other people have already said, as long as we're not like redistributing pictures of war scrolls that have been posted online and stuff like that. I think it's generally probably okay.
Right.
Just because it's considered like public knowledge at that point.
Yep.
And phrasing everything under the guise of this is a leak. This isn't. We're not telling you rules that we saw or anything like that. We're not sharing anything that was given to us in confidentiality. This is all just sharing public knowledge, essentially. That being said, let's go through all the points. No, I think.
Yeah. Let's show everything that we've seen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be kind of more of a loosey-goosey show because, like, if you don't know where to find the leaks, they are everywhere. Feel free to come on the Discord if you want to know information about your faction. But that's not what I was talking about. What I was saying, you were saying before the show that some of these leaks are wrong.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's another thing, is to take a lot of these things with grains of salt. For some reason, these content creators have access to all of like the war scrolls. That much is clear. Like we know for sure, some YouTubers and battle report creators and whatnot have them. However, I think, and this is just speculation, I think that GW is making it so that they can't directly show you those war scrolls. They can only basically describe to you what they are. So in the form of a battle report, it would be, I'm going to attack with my Saurus warriors, and they have like this profile, hitting on this, wounding on this, rend whatever, damage 1 or something like that. And so what a lot of content creators are doing is they're saying, ask me about the war scroll that you want to know about, and I will tell you about it. And they'll just directly say, and apparently that's okay. But because of that...
That's weird.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like Coach had a big Q&A in his Discord where people were just hanging out asking about like what does Archaon look like, or like what are Varangard look like, or something like that. And he was basically just going down the list and talking about like what all of the abilities were. But anyway, my major point is that this kind of creates an inherent game of telephone, and I've already seen 3 layers of ogre leaks so far. One of them arguably isn't leaks. Number 1 was the Dude Trust Me ogre leaks that came out a long time ago.
Right.
They said like a bunch of like general things like multiple sources of run and charge, that sort of stuff. The next one was this recent bout of leaks where it's like actually telling us like what the profiles are, what the sub factions are, and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And the third one was the Goonhammer leak, and each time something changed. Like, right. I remember looking at the Beastclaw Raiders sub faction where in the Dude Trust Me, it was like -1 to hit within 12 inches or something like that. And then the recent bout of leaks was like -1 to hit against shooting attacks while infantry units are wholly within 12 inches of Beast Riders specifically. And then I think in Goonhammer it says within 12 inches of Beastclaw Raiders heroes. So it's like just these little things that are changing back and forth a whole bunch when that is seemingly a very small thing, but it's actually massive, right? Like you could be structuring your entire army around that. It's a sub-faction. So basically all that to say, take it with a grain of salt. Things will be a little bit different than what the leaks that are circulating around say. Right. And just be aware of that.
Yeah, I also saw there was like a leaks like about what's coming and near the start of Age of Sigmar. Did you see about that?
One more time, sorry. I can read the chat and I can listen to you, but not both on this. What were you saying?
So there were leaks about what is coming out for AoS 4 after. So we know AoS 4, Skaven Tide is coming out, and then we're getting the Stormcast and the Skaven. We don't know which one's coming first, right? And so then after that, did you hear the leaks about like what's coming after that? Okay. Now this is like these aren't actually leaks, they're rumors, just to be clear, right? But it sounds too good to be true, so I don't think I believe it, but I want to believe it. Okay? Because they said Skaven and Stormcast obviously coming out first, and then next they said Nighthaunt, which I think was the first Death faction to get previewed, but Auric War Clans is coming with them. Apparently there's still one book, and there's still in one battle tome, and then an Ironjaw's Spearhead is coming, but there's only one new mini, and it's a Hobgrot Chieftain. You know, like the Hobgrot guys? They're getting like a little hero. That kind of sounds, that part, like it has me start to kind of get going. Like I'm like, oh, maybe that sounds kind of real. But that's not really what I care about or want to believe. They said after those, we'll have Idoneth this year getting like an expansion basically, right? And they said in there around Christmas, or the Christmas is the announcement, and then like after that we're gonna see Achillean High Lokian. I don't know what that means. And then Achillean Knights, and again I don't know what that means. You know, but man, that would be so sick if they were on crabs. But like I hope they're not like foot Achillean, because like I don't even want that. like Achillean storm vermin. Like, no, thank you. And then something called a shoal herd, endless spells, and then Soul Blight following it with a White King's Court, Graveguard, Corpse Cart, and endless spells. So, I don't know. It's the only reason I bring it up is because I want to believe that Idnith are getting an expansion. I'm not sure I believe. Like, what do you guys think? In the chat, in the comments. Like, I don't know. Does it sound too good to be true like it does to me? Like,
it sounds like reasonable, I think, especially the Graveguard thing kind of sealed it for me, just because we saw a leak that was like very...
Right. Now, that could be a guess, though, right? They could just be like, And we've seen a couple of things that looked Idnithy. Like, we saw some stuff with, like, coral on the base before. So,
yeah, that's very true. Also, welcome to the chat, Braden. Good to see you in Battered Bison.
Absolutely. And Kenrick and everyone else, we thank you for joining us. Justin says those rumors sounded super fake. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so here's what I think, though. Because I think every faction is getting endless spells. Because otherwise it's like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone can take from the general endless spells, but it feels like everyone should be able to have their own. So, yeah. But also, like, it's also a little bit weird that, like Auric War Clans were the first one with Stormcast last year. And now, if they're, like, the first one after the main two, that's kind of like, man, they're just stuck at the start of every edition. They try to, like, mix that up a little bit. So I could see Idnith and Soulblight because they were, earlier, but not right at the start. I don't know. Oh my god. Everyone's just getting sick or effed up. Robin, like, got bit by an infected dog or something like that, or...
Dire wolves.
Dire wolves. Those goddamn dire wolves. Oh, man. Anyway, okay, so we got through that, right? I do agree, though, Kiki. Obviously, I mean, I just want it, but, like, Idnith should get an expansion. Like, their roster isn't big enough right now. So, just a little bit, and then they really just kind of burst out. Anyway, Rumor Engine. What the hell is this thing? Like, it's a book or a grimoire? Like, on a table?
Yeah, it seems like Cities-esque to me, if it is Sigmar at all. And if it's not Sigmar, maybe like Sisters or something. But
that could be. By the way, I didn't finish reading that rumor, by the way. Endless spells as well for Soulblight. Idnith supposedly coming early winter, and Soulblight February or March. Spring will bring the first bigger release of the edition with Cities of Sigmar. With Free Guild
for cities.
Marshal on Griff, whatever. It cuts out there.
Interesting.
But like, so like a lot of people are like, that sounds fake because like City's getting it again. But like we've seen that many times. Like Slanesh, Lumineth, like a bunch of times we've seen like big releases and then like another subsequent like fairly large release. And there's a lot of stuff in Cities right now that I think they want to send to the old world, and they can't until they replace it. So I actually think that there might be something there. What do you think?
I hope that I honestly have no idea if it has any truth to it, but if it does have truth to it, I hope that Cities gets the the attention to dwarves and elves that humans got recently, just because I know that there's a lot of people that are kind of diehard fans of that stuff. Yeah. And that's kind of what Cities is, right? It's supposed to be like an amalgamation of like multiple races of things living together. Totally. Because it's like that's what's left at the Age of Chaos, and it's super cool and thematic. But
I agree.
I hope that that's the case.
I think Alex made a great point that Fire Slayers really needs more foot heroes in its release. So hopefully they get like a pack, like I forget how many Idnith releases were in there, but like maybe like the same amount of releases, but they're all foot heroes. That'd be good.
Or actually, I would like it mostly foot heroes, but I'd like at least one more kit where it's a bunch of dwarves that have red mohawks. They're wearing diapers and they're carrying
They
axes.
really need to, they really need to like step up their game and add more variety of naked dwarves with mohawks and axes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying, but
Yeah, I shouldn't have even said it. You're right. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
like, come on, man.
Also, hey, Big Ron, good to see you. Quarters in session.
Court is in session. So really needs a few more foot heroes too. That's true. They do. Let's see. Fire Slayers need shirts. Yeah, like it'll be like a Barbie expansion where you can just like buy little shirts to put on them.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, Leviticus says, with the new structure of regiments as heroes, really what anyone wants, though. So it is worth mentioning that there are going to be some examples of heroes that can be in a regiment under another hero. I think that they mentioned the Slaughter Priest is one of them that would be able to do that in the Corn article or something like that. So it's not like... Because if you imagine like Soulblight, for instance, that would be awful. If like they have so many different like named characters and like random heroes that
Right.
they gotta have a way to be able to like put them in regiments with other heroes. Otherwise,
Yeah, like the Warlord Battalion from the current edition.
yeah, exactly. And I think that probably most people are going to be wanting to keep it to like 2 or 3 regiments in their army with almost no auxiliaries. That's just pure conjecture. But with that being
That
the
seems
case,
likely.
like most armies have a lot more than 3 heroes currently, right? That act as buff pieces.
Well, the problem kind of from the previous like 2 editions was like when we got a new book, we got a new foot hero and that was it usually, you know. Sometimes you got lucky and you got like some endless spells and a terrain piece in like 2nd edition, but last edition was like the revamp edition and then foot heroes, right? Like even Beasts of Chaos.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Kenrick says, the real question is, am I bringing Karandis or Karazai to Tacoma? And it's both.
Yes.
Obviously.
Be a man.
There's no such thing as battle line requirements anymore, so why not just
Yeah. Just both.
2 dragons?
That was Ryan's idea. Like that's what he always wanted to do was Karazai, Karandis, and then the rest just like whatever dragons he could fit. I was like, it's not going to be a good list. He's like, I don't care. It's dragons. Yeah. Honestly, now I think I would probably do Karazai and what's his name? Ionis. And then dragons.
What if you can fit all 3?
That's what I mean.
Karandis, Karazai, and Ionis?
Oh, I see. I don't know.
You never
Like
know.
the points are going up, and then on top of that, their new War Scrolls look sick. Like they look really good.
Well, because what Ionis is like just about 500, or no, he's 400 points now because he can be an ally. So
Right.
even if he goes up to 500, that still leaves 750 points each for those dragons, which is not, seems like a lot.
You
No?
mean? No, I know, but like, I mean, I was assuming that you did in fact want like some.
No. Just
No.
three
Get out of
models.
here.
That's all you need. Raiden says I might be a little biased, but OBR could use some more models. You got
know-
those weird janky Warcry ones. What are you talking about? You're spoiled.
Yeah. Greedy. Actually, though, like, so I don't disagree with Brayden. Like, I think it's so. First, we got Sylvaneth, right? That was in AoS 1, like early AoS 1, and now they got a revamp, or not a revamp. What do you call it? Like an expansion, I guess I'll call it. In last edition, that was in 3rd edition. So 1st to 3rd, right? Then, if this rumor about Ignith is true, Ignith should have gotten like an expansion last edition, because they were the last faction to get released in AoS 1. So, like, you would think that by the end of AoS 3, we would have gotten an expansion. Now, we got a bunch of expansions, so whatever, right? I'm actually totally fine with getting it this edition. So, if we get it, though, like, then OBR came, like, halfway through AoS 2. So, like, you know, maybe a year or 2 after, that wouldn't. I think OBR getting an expansion makes sense. They're one of those factions though where it's like they had kind of a rough start in that they were like the best faction that we've ever seen in the game. Like their win rate was crazy high and they were like super easy to play. I'm talking when they first came out in AoS 2. And so like they had kind of a reputation, I think. And then like also it kind of created this community of people who got used to having really good rules. So when their rules aren't insanely good, they're just like, ugh, what is this garbage? You know what I mean? But there are a lot of like OBR stands out there that love the flavor and the, you know what I mean? Like their lore and the look of them. Like our buddy Ryan is one of those people. Like he got into AoS with OBR and he didn't know anything about the game. Like he literally just bought OBR and then started playing Age of Sigmar afterward. So
yeah, him and I split Feast of Bones 2 boxes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's how you got into AoS too. Yeah.
No, I already had Beast Claw Raiders before that, but then that was me fully jumping into it kind of thing.
I thought you were just painting them though. Were you playing?
No, I was playing a bit with my brother, and that was about
cool.
It. But,
I didn't know.
So I guess you could say this like got me into it, or at least for a bit, because I didn't really play for the rest of second or most of third. So
no, yeah, like you like I know you from 40K. We used to play 40K together. Same with Ryan. We had like a small group of awesome people to play with actually.
Eons ago,
and then you kind of got into it, AoS with the Feast of Bones for a little bit, and then you kind of quickly went back to 40K.
Yeah.
And then I sold you drugs in the form of AoS 3, and so I'm sorry.
I don't really know what happened. Like it was just all of a sudden I decided I want to be painting more models, and then you invited me onto the channel a couple times, and then eventually I ended up like coming onto the podcast. And also during that time I like started going to tournaments a bit. And fun fact, my very first tournament game ever for Age of Sigmar was against Kenrick.
Yeah.
So, and he kicked my ass.
He sure did.
And,
yeah. He's told me that story a few times where he's like, this guy's a pushover, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who this guy is, but
sucks.
Well, he's terrible at this game. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
and then he said something like, I can't remember. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said something along the lines of, and then I never won a game again. Or something like that. Oh, God dang, that it's hard.
Bryce asked, what army did you play in 40K? I had Necrons and Tyranids in 40K.
Yeah. And your girl played orcs.
Yep.
Yep.
Still has them.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I was just like, who is this person? He's clearly figured out the secret to life, because like I only see him playing 40K with his girl. Like that's the dream. I don't get how you achieve this magic. But I don't think I've seen her play since.
No.
You both got pretty busy after that though too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, Rick. Good time.
Good time.
Just the one.
Not
Just
plural. The one. Everything else was bad. Playing was bad. Yeah. You're staying home to build rats, and you guessed it, more rats. Hell yeah, that is the way, Ludivicus. This man's also figured it out. Yeah, building rats is my favorite. One of my favorite things to do. Playing rats, building rats, painting rats. I'm also working on rats, but no worries. Yeah. You love the OBR lore and aesthetic. Excited them for not to be oppressively good so people don't have a long sigh. Like, that's... And, like, absolutely... And I meant to bring that up, Brayden, is that it sucks... It mostly sucks for the people playing the army. Like, the good people playing the army. Like, there are people who literally just sign up because they were, like, really good or whatever. But those people leave. As soon as they're not good anymore, those people skedaddle and they're gone, right? So, like, what you're left with is only the cool people. And it sucks when it feels like that's the worst experience. It's not playing against this army that just feels bad to play against. It's playing the army that you love with all your dear little cold, bony, dead heart that You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Like, we've all been there
Yeah.
where our faction. Well, actually, maybe not you, Carson.
I think.
I mean,
at
40K.
some point. Yeah, in 40K it's happened.
Yeah.
But definitely not AoS. No.
No,
I
no. Your
don't think I've
faction
ever
is.
played a faction that's had like more than like a 46% win rate or something like that.
Yeah, when people sigh when you show up, it's purely based on your character as a person. Yeah.
Yes.
It
Thank
has
you
nothing
for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
People are
welcome.
disappointed to see you. Actually.
Yeah, if they ever sigh, it's is this
Oh, God.
motherfucker?
Pringles guy that got high on his own supply keeps rolling double sixes.
Yeah. That's my face. You know what? Honestly, though, okay, this is... Dang it. I just dropped something. This is a tip for everyone. If you have like a... There's definitely an old man sound as I bent to pick something up there. This is definitely a tip for those... Like, because we're... At some point in this edition... Some of us are going to have an army that people don't want to play against. It'll be considered OP. It won't be right away. It like, you know what I mean? Whatever the factions, the first like 4 or 5 factions, they usually play it quite safe. It'll be something in the middle. It'll be at least mid-edition where they start going like, let's really get crazy here. If you have one of those factions, you need to do what Eric does. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He becomes the villain. And
No, he just...
the amount of times he's antagonized people while playing Croak. He's like,
Yeah.
Hey, you don't like my lizard? Huh?
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's like, okay, so like I in text format in real life, I've heard it a million times. People are just like, I hate Croak. Like, I hate playing against him. He destroys all my armies. Like, it's totally unfair, and they just like complain like way more than they should, right? And Eric's like, yeah, he's awesome. It's super cool how he just like doses you with mortal wounds, and he just blows up all your key objects, and there's like nothing you can do about it. He's like, it's awesome. You know, he's just like super happy about it. And there's something about that. Like he went 4-1 or whatever in Prince George or whatever. I can't remember if he went 5-0 or 4-1 or something like that. Just beating the pants off of everyone, and he won best sports the first year. That's how you do it. You're just like, yeah, this is awesome. You just own it. So that's my tip.
Isn't it great that I'm just splashing 4d3 mortal wounds to your
Exactly.
most important things?
But I mean,
Awesome.
like OBR was definitely my army that I've definitely, I don't want to say hated on, but like every time someone rolls up, I'm just like, here we go again. But this is mostly an AoS 1 that I'm talking about. Actually, it's only an AoS. Oh, sorry, AoS 2, because they weren't in AoS 1. Anyway, another thing that you can do too is, like, because Matthias kind of does the same thing, right? I was playing Ideneth against his OBR in AoS 2 when they were totally broken, right? And he shut down every single spell I was trying to do. Like, he stopped me from, like, I can't remember. He stopped me from doing literally anything, right? And then at one point I was just like, Matthias, can I just, like, do something or whatever? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you think you were going to get to play this game or whatever? Just, like, no mercy. And it was awesome. Like, I talk about it all the time, how funny that was. Like, I laughed my ass off. Anyway, that's my tip. It works. You just got to, like... Embrace it. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was fun. I enjoyed playing them. Okay. So we got some news to go over. And again, if you're looking for leaks, join the Discord. We can point you in the right direction. You don't want to get them, you don't want to get them off the corner from some guy who's just selling you them. Yeah. You can't trust him.
Then he'll make you leaky.
If I had a nickel every time some stranger made me leaky, I'd be a rich man. Moving right along. So they showed... This is from the article that went up about how like some extra accessories you might want kind of deal. And I think a lot of people reacted to this General's Handbook with like, ugh, like, why are they making a book when we're getting the cards in Scaventide? There was a bunch of stuff like that, right? And I actually think this is fantastic. And I'm not going to buy it because I am getting Scaventide. So I've got the cards. I've got enough that I don't need this General's Handbook. But I'm very excited for the announcement of it for two reasons. One is because it's good. It's like, if you don't want to buy the giant core rules because like you're never going to look at the book, like probably ever again. Least you're evil. And I approve. I really like it. I'm going to, oh wait, I can't actually vote in this because I'm signed in under the account. That was Carson who made it, by the way. I just want to point that out. What was I talking about? Oh, anyway, so I'm excited for the people who want to just buy the General's Handbook just to have the rules. But I'm also excited because it means we're getting the binder GHBs still, and we're going to have the rules printed inside them. Because I don't want to bring my core rule book, out with me to even just to the game store, and I can't even imagine wanting to bring it to like a tournament or something like that, right?
Yeah, these GHBs are actually pretty fantastic. Just being able to reference like all of the core rules, it's all just like in one little package. Usually they have all of the endless spell stuff in there too. Like everything generic is going to be in this book. The only thing is that specifically that one right there maybe is not going to sell very well, just because everyone's going to be getting Scaventide. Yeah, all the stuff is going to be leaking. So, but like,
I mean, there's going to be like it seems like everyone's buying Scaventide, but I don't think that they are.
No, but what I mean is that there's going to be a lot of people buying multiple copies of it, and like those core rule books and those cards are going to be circulating around like crazy.
Oh, that's also true. Yeah, so GW, please don't take this first GHB as some kind of... We want you to make them. We want to have like quick and easy access to the current GHB as well as the rules. Yeah, please don't stop making them. We like it.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't take the lesser sales of this one as a sign. Oh, we should probably increase the price of these to make our money back.
Oh God, yeah, no kidding. I didn't think about that.
They are pretty expensive.
I mean, they're already doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe we should double the margin in which we increase these things now. Yeah. A lot of the covers have been really cool. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I don't like her, like, or his. I can't. Whatever. Like what is it called? The back.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. It
looks like a throne or something, but it's really
weird. No, I don't think it's a throne. I think it's
no, I don't think it is. I'm just saying that's what it looks like because it's so big and crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it looks dumb. I like the axes though. I'm not even a huge fan of the armor, to be honest. I like the cape. Anyway, the art's usually quite good on these things, but I really like the Zeech one and obviously the Skaven one. But yeah. And so then they showed a few other things. Like you're going to be able to buy the terrain that again is this is not going to sell well. Like this little tiny piece of terrain is for playing Spearhead. But you're getting the stuff for free in the Scaventide box, and a lot of people aren't going to care less about it. So, but I don't really care if they reprint that. And then there's the faction packs we're getting. I don't know. Like I've seen some people like really hyped for these things, and I've seen other people were like, "Don't buy them." Like, what are you thinking? Where did you land?
I mean, like anytime that there's been a new like Ogre release or Slaves to Darkness, I'll always buy the War Scroll cards. Why not, right? Like it's nice to have a little bit of a physical representation. That being said, I haven't. Well, I mean, there hasn't really been a release that I've cared about recently to do so, but I was going to say that I haven't bought any recently just because I've noticed that when I'm going to tournaments, I'm just looking at my phone anyway at all the different War Scrolls and whatnot. So time will tell, but from what I heard, they're cheaper than what the War Scroll cards usually are. Like, what are they, like 15, 20 US or something? Or they're the same price as what the War Scroll cards usually are?
They've been like $37.50, I think, recently in Canadian.
Okay. So then chances are these will be a little cheaper.
But why are they cheaper?
I don't know. Maybe because they know that they're already all available online anyway, like for free, so that there's no
maybe
lost opportunity cost or something like that.
Right. I mean, I think I might buy I might get Ideneth and maybe Seraphon or something, but like the Skaven ones, like we're gonna get like a whole new release, and those things don't hold over well. I didn't get them for Tyranids or Space Marines for 40k. Not that I was really playing 40k, but yeah, I don't know.
I might pick up the War Scroll cards for like whatever when the books actually come out, but just like Big Ron said in the chat, like errata makes them useless fast. Like these are all index rules, right?
Right.
So chances are when everything gets a book, I'd imagine War Scrolls are going to change a decent amount. And these aren't going to have nearly as much like longevity as they normally would. It's not going to be the lifespan of these isn't going to be a whole edition. It's going to be from now until whenever you get a book, right? Whereas if you buy the War Scroll cards, it's until your next book.
That's kind of why I was like thinking that as well. But like if we don't get like Ideneth in the end until 2026 or something like that, then it's kind of like, well, I kind of wish I'd bought those things when they're that cheap, you probably get tokens or something in there too. I don't know, but yeah,
maybe. Kiki says I'm not going to buy any books or cards for 4th and see if I miss them. I think that makes sense. Now's a good time to do it, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because a lot of people are going to be getting in and buying this stuff, so there's probably a good chance you can pick it up secondhand pretty cheap not long after if you do end up regretting it, right?
Exactly. Would you mind ending the poll? It's covering up my screen, and I literally can't get rid of it.
Sure.
Thank you. And by the way,
Lumineth is the least favorite faction to play against.
What?
Yeah.
I like how everyone voted, and they voted on different Lumineths.
Yeah, thanks everyone for voting. That's really
thanks. That was. I'm so glad you did that. Skaven was one of the 29 USD ones. Jeez. Okay, I'm definitely not buying the Skaven one. And Alex said earlier he really likes the cover, so I scrolled it up for him. Depending on the faction, that's crazy. I mean, Skaven, at least I get why. It's because there's so many cards in there that but like that's quite the. It's like 15 to 29. It's like what a breadth of. I mean, like the Ignith ones, $15 makes sense, but not that many War Scrolls.
I mean, it's probably double. There's some armies that have double the War Scrolls.
Actually,
armies.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's an army that I wouldn't be surprised if Stormcast has almost like triple what Ideneth has.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they do.
Or Sons of Behemoth even.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not. Sons of Behemoth. Yeah, yeah, those should definitely be. Those should be less than $15.
You should be able to get Sons of Behemoth when you buy a pack of gum. Like,
yeah. Buy a pot of paint, get a free. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot. I mean, if you're Behemoth, then you're probably not even buying them, right?
Yeah, probably not. You probably just.
I don't think I would.
They're just burned into your retinas after you looked at them once, and then you're good.
Just get them tattooed on one of your fingernails, and then you're fine. And then we're getting the dice. It looks like we're not getting the cool 40k dice. That's unfortunate. Like, and these are fine. They look okay, but yeah.
Aren't these? We've seen these dice before, haven't we?
They're not exactly the same.
Just the same logos.
They're slightly different logos.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
I might have just recognized.
They're very similar.
I saw what was the big muscle man that played in the like wrestler matchup spearhead thing? He's playing a Stormcast. He was using the Grand Alliance Order dice for sure. I remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I remember them from.
I think, because like, okay, for example, the destruction ones, they had like a set of jaws on them, but they were a little bit more cartoony and less like jagged and kind of interesting, frankly. But I don't know. I don't really like the colors on most of them, to be honest. Like, I like the purple ones probably, but like, I don't know. I'm not saying don't buy them, by the way. I just saying, they're not Those dice are a ripoff. Nowhere near as good as the Hypnosland dice. Thank you, Nick. Exactly. Yeah, my Hypnosland dice are a fraction of the cost of these things, and they're way, way nicer. Like, seriously, they're way nicer. But what are you going to do? I'm still not telling people not to buy them. You know? You can waste your money however you want. Okay? I do like that they have like Skaven art though on the Chaos ones, but like it doesn't feel very thematic to buy like Chaos red, like basically like that reminds me of Khorne, you know, those dice.
Yeah, and the symbol they've got on it kind of just looks like a butthole.
A very inflamed butthole
just a
of
real
someone. Yeah,
just a little. Yeah,
it is the messed up part.
Look at it. Look, even the gold isn't showing up.
That's what I was gonna say. God dang it! It's like brown and like brassy or whatever. It's not. It looks like bronze. It doesn't. It's not even like a bright gold or like white pips. It's just. God dang it! That is one inflamed butthole. Okay, moving right along.
Just angry.
Yeah. So okay, here's something positive. Okay. Got to get off those butthole dice quick. I saw the numbers drop. Everything went down. So this book is coming out, Scaventide, by Gary Kloster. I wanted to ask in the chat and in the comment section later on, has anyone read, this is not a shot at him at all, by the way. I'm excited for this book. I want to read it, right? But I don't know chocolate starfish dice. Damn you, Ludivicus. I was curious if anyone's read anything by him, because like what I wanted to point out was it's getting a special edition, Scaventide. It's getting one of those fancy blue and white, you know, like really fancy covers with the ribbon. Or actually, here I'll point it out with the ribbon here, and like the paper it's not gilded edges, but it's got like a print on them, like super fancy. And, you know, I was just curious because, like, I don't think I remember them doing this for Leviathan for 40K. So it's really interesting that they did it for AoS. Maybe it's because we have so few books that they get the special edition treatment. They're like, let's throw them a bone. You know, but, you know, I'm going to read it, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to order the fancy edition because I don't want to take a chance on like what'll probably be a very expensive book for an author that I haven't read before. So if anyone's read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know. And then the biggest news, frankly, that we've gotten this whole week, including like bigger news probably than any individual leaks or whatever, is they announced that on Monday, July 8th, so 6 days from now, we're going to get the key rules and the battle profiles. And then Tuesday, we're getting all the Order faction packs. Wednesday, we get Chaos. Thursday, Death. Friday, Destruction, because obviously GW doesn't like destruction. And then, and then, just kidding, everyone, calm down. Monday, July the 15th, we get Regiments of Renown, Legends, which no one cares about. And what was rosters again? I asked this in our group chat, and I can't remember now.
I don't actually know what rosters is.
Yeah, someone told me.
I'm not sure about that one. But the key thing to note is that, so the Monday, 8th of July, that release, battle profiles basically means like what are the points, and also what heroes allow what in their battalion. So it's basically just going to say like how can you actually structure your army. So you could technically build lists on Monday regardless of what faction you are.
Yep.
Just because you know all the points and you know all the regiment requirements and stuff like that. So, and then obviously that's when they would like formally publish the core rules for everybody to look at, because we definitely haven't seen them already.
Yeah.
No way we've seen those.
It's not like they're all over the internet.
Yeah. So, and then you could pretty well start playing games on the Monday, I think, just because there's a lot of, again, take a lot of grains of salt with like
it'd
what
still
actually,
be a scuffed game, but it's still better than nothing.
It'd be much more accurate, and that's kind of what's been happening. Is like it's been getting more and more and more accurate the more information that we've had. So, yeah. Matt
One
T
is-
says we don't know about the app yet. That's supposed to be coming out on the 15th as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
I think rosters is which. I think someone said rosters is what units can be included in what heroes in the battalions or something, right?
Oh, I really hope not. I hope not.
Me too, because regiments of renown, who cares? Like regiments of renown, like you hardly ever saw those, right? And that's going to replace allies. So like obviously there are people who care about that, but like it's going to be very confined now. Legends, like that's like what, like the colossal squig and like the stuff that you can't even use anymore in match play.
And Beast of Chaos and Bone Splitters.
But they're not legends yet. They're full factions. Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure because their symbols are not in.
But they're not.
the
They're
description
not considered
back.
legends until next summer. Legends is like what you can't use in match play. So, but I guess they are including them in there. Just to make it absolutely clear that you no longer get to use them. Is that what they're doing?
I guess so. Yeah.
God dang.
I'll be
Not
curious
cool,
to see
boys.
if GW actually allows either of those factions at their tournaments as well.
If who does?
GW. I don't know
Oh,
if they're
I
going
see.
to. I think what I have a feeling what it's going to be is GW is going to say, here's rules for them if you want to use them casually, but you can't bring them to our tournaments.
Oh man, I think that would be a bad move. Like the PR is just starting to blow over, like from last time. Oh man. But on the 15th, Army of Renowns. Yeah, absolutely. That's coming too.
They said the regiment stuff is specified in the battle profile.
Okay,
good.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, like, and maybe what that person told me was speculation or something, or maybe they were guessing. I don't remember. Yeah. Seen a host of new Black Library authors over the last few years. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Cody. Even like I've read quite a few of the different. I can't remember if I said it last. Yeah, I think I did. About they were saying like the books to read if you want to get into Age of Sigmar, and I was like, most of that is not where I would start, other than Gotrek. Yeah. Given how GW mastered edging of its player base, I'm surprised that they didn't release points last time. No. I don't get why they don't just release, And actually, like, why don't they do destruction first? It's like, it's the smallest,
It's also the simplest. So, dang.
Yeah, that's true.
They need the least time to learn their rules and combos, I guess. And I
Usually
think
death is pretty complicated, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
I think it's just a bias. Probably just good old-fashioned bias.
I mean, this is also the order they present always.
That's true.
Like even on
The
their
faction
website, I think
focuses?
well, if you even look at their website, it's not alphabetical order. It says like order, chaos, death, destruction.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise, it would be what?
Chaos.
Chaos, death, destruction, order.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have order last.
That's true.
Sockjack says, why is Destruction not showing a logo for Iron Jaws? They're actually releasing them in the same faction pack, which is kind of weird because they were like, Iron Jaws and Cruel Boys are totally separate, you guys, except we're going to be releasing them in the same faction pack. And according to Rob's rumor now, they're one book.
It's not my rumor. I didn't start this rumor, by the way.
My bad. Just the rumor that Rob is choosing to spread.
Yeah.
Love your family popping by to wish all good luck. Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
Second wife.
Wait, I thought I was the second wife. I'm pretty sure I'm the second wife. Oh no, I'm the second sister wife. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. I'm number 2. I know my place. As I told.
This whole channel, just so everyone knows, is just fighting for Kenrick's attention.
That's true. That's true.
The
That's all we
entire
do.
thing is just the facade, and we're all trying to win over Kenrick, including you, actually, the viewer.
The viewer, okay.
If you think I'm not talking about you, I am.
Yeah, because it definitely looked like you were pointing at me as well.
I was.
Yeah, it is true. That's why. Wait, what? I thought we already agreed. Well, Rob, destruction can't go first because they need to kick me in the balls one more time. They like watching my face distort. You specifically. I mean, we all like that, Latificus. But welcome to Skaven. You know? They like us. They like us. We don't. They don't like us that much, right? Like they don't. They like us more than like Beasts of Chaos, but not more than like most other factions because they waited like 30 years to update, right? But it's Rob's rumor from now on. Yeah. The one that I read off my phone, and it's from 4chan, by the way. But like. There have been like a few people, like there have been people who leaked specifically on 4chan that we've seen in the past, right? So, yeah. I just want the Idenith thing to be true. I just want Idenith. I hope the knights are on crabs. That's what I want. That'd be so sick.
Cool. Just riding sideways into battle.
Yeah, like I'm not even joking. Like I hope they're on oval bases.
I love that they had like giant shell crackers as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be, or like, yeah, like it would remind me of the, what are they called? The Carnifexes with Wrecker Claws or whatever they were called. Oh, man. Yeah. Kenrick is the Mortarch of good vibes, or just the Mortarch of vibes for his, that's his official name. And I have things to reveal for that, but it's not totally ready yet. So, who GW loves the most?
Half-written love letter to the left of Rob's desk right now. I have things to reveal, but it's not ready.
Yeah,
you have to wait.
True. Yeah, I should. Oh, I didn't mean to show that. Sorry. So I think Ladificus is right. We need a poll on who GW loves the most. I'm assuming you mean by faction, and then who they hate the most. Get on it.
GW loves Kenrick the most, and then after that is Lumineth, I think.
That's true. Lumineth. No, I don't know. Stormcast have gotten a lot of releases. Like so many, they had to cull like half the faction so they could put more releases out. So I think Kenrick, Stormcast, Lumineth, and then what? I don't know.
Just other elves?
Other elves. I was going to say that. That's so crazy you said that. I don't know. I'm excited. And then actually, I just wanted to point out this really cool article. Warhammer Studio interview designing the new Skaven. They kind of go back and they show like the old cover. They show some of the old art, and I remember this piece of art. And I was just like, oh man, like this is so awesome. So they just kind of go into how they kept the feel of it and whatever. And it probably is a bunch of BS public speak kind of thing, but I don't know. It's worth it alone just for this piece of art, frankly. I want a print of this art. Oh, by the way, so I did watch. I should say, I saw an ad for Displate, right? And I didn't know that they have a bunch of 40K and AoS Displates out there, right? 0 Skaven. There's like 2 of Lady Ollander, and there's 0 Skaven. What the hell? We're the face of this edition.
What did you say? There, disc plate?
I thought it was Displate.
I just didn't know. I don't know what you said.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was Displate, like DISPLATE. They're like those metal posters that always get advertised
gotcha.
on YouTube. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I gotcha. I'm gonna Google that right now, just to see if I can. Ooh, skating.
Get ready to be disappointed, friendo. They have Necrons, so if you're in the market for Necrons or Tyranids, there's a lot of them.
They got Vermintide displays.
Yeah, but there's no Skaven on the front cover. It's a Chaos guy, and then it's like the heroes.
There's people kicking the crap out of Skaven.
Barely. You can barely see it. They're like it's got like a Gaussian blur on it, so you can't even really see them.
Yeah, you're right.
It's poop.
You're right.
Give me like like. There's so many cool things. Like there's a really awesome looking. Anyway, I'll stop for now. GW sculptors love Cruel Boys. Marketing hates ogres, and everyone loves Gits. I mean, that's not wrong.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's actually pretty damn accurate. Although, too, Sockjack, one thing to remember is Cruel Boys were the face of the last edition. So, fingers crossed, like a lot of those special models become Skaven this time. And I will buy them all. At least one. Oh, God, this is going to be so bad for my wallet. Actually, and so one more thing. I'm just going to scroll this down so you can see the whole poster. There we go. Oh, yeah. How do they not have... I know. It's literally the most iconic army. It's the most creative and original thing they've ever made. Ugh, I got started again. I promised I wouldn't. But I probably will again. I don't know if I brought this up before. Have I brought up this... Okay. Have any of you painted enough GW... with enough GW paint that they're just like how do you open up your paints like this by popping it up with your thumb, or do you like ape it open like a monkey in a coconut?
I try one and then the other. If I can't pop it up with the thumb, like if it's too much resistance, then I'll like grab it and just rip it open.
Okay. So you're like me.
But I'm slowly transitioning away from GW paints. Actually, every time I run out of a paint, I find like another equivalent of a different company, and I buy that and use that instead.
GW, he's lying. Don't listen to him. Sponsor our channel. Send us things, please. I still really like a lot of their paint for certain things. Like my favorite, I don't know if I should say it or not. My favorite's Pro Acryl. It just is. I love their paint. Super high pigment. Like, oh, it's so great. I love all of their paint. It's so great. I use a variety of stuff. But I still use GW paint. It's kind of thick. So if you're doing certain things with it, it's really great. Like it's not great to use it in an airbrush and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was doing this too, right? And at one point, obviously you guys are going to know where this story is going, but at one point, many years ago actually, my thumb was hurting because I was doing it so much. I was just painting. I was painting like hours and hours every day. So I was just constantly popping up GW paints and closing them. And my thumb was hurting and I didn't know why, right? The joint of my thumb was hurting and I couldn't figure out why. And then my parents were visiting and I was just like, oh my God, like that's why I'm such an idiot. Like I didn't figure it out right away. And so, this is just a story for anyone who paints a lot with and uses GW paints. Because it's the same for all of them. It's the same for their washes, their dry brush paint. All of them have the same style opening, right? And what my dad bought me he bought me a bottle opener. And I just keep it here next to my paint and I just use it to pop it open. And it's way better. Like, I would never, ever go back. But I've been using it so much and for so long that, like, it started to, crack. So I put, like, epoxy glue on over here. And then where the epoxy glue wasn't there, like, I used it the other day and the end popped off. And I was sad because my dad's no longer with me, so like I don't want to get rid of this thing, right? So now I got to figure out like I'm gonna try and like put it back on, and then I'm gonna like coat this whole end with epoxy so that it won't come off or whatever. But anyway, I just picked like this just happened. And so I just thought, this might help someone else because my thumb was hurting and I was just kind of like I hate opening it like this. It's just not comfortable. Like the paint pots are too small and my hands aren't that big. You know what I mean? So anyway, there's a tip for you. I actually got another one that I'm trying to entice Carson into trading for me with his Stormcast one, his Stormcast Spikehead one. Because this doesn't get any more
Royal
Carson.
King is pretty good.
Yeah, right?
It's pretty good.
Come on! Anyway.
There's a lot of people going off in the chat about their preferred paints as well. Like
And
I was saying,
just a disclaimer, I realize that it's all very personal. Like everyone
has their own favorite paints.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And like I was at the store and like to me it's like it's so obvious that Pro Acryl's like better than anything. But then I met someone at the store and he's just like and he said something about like airbrushing, like how they're bad to airbrush. And I'm like, you're insane. Like they're like, that's what they do best. They go out like butter. And he's like, no. I hate painting with a paintbrush with them. And I'm like, what? Like that makes even less sense. Like, cause some paint is finicky in an airbrush, or I can see like someone getting like a bad pot, but anyway, that's interesting. I wonder what, so I after talking all about my bottle opener, don't really like GW paint, but I ape them open. Yeah. I mean, that's the way to not get your hands to hurt. But, I also use like this little metal thing to put on stuff. Like sometimes when I'm holding stuff together or prop stuff up in pictures and whatnot. So it has more uses than that, but yeah.
Yeah. So Delicious brings up a good point, which is that Pro Acryl I find blows up on a wet palette after about 15 minutes. Have you had that same issue?
It blows up?
So like I have an issue where I'll put Pro Acryl on a wet palette and I'll do the same mixture to get it like the consistency that I want. And after about 10 to 15 minutes of painting, it becomes way, way, way too watery. And it like actually like congeals when I put it on, when I paint it onto something.
Whoa, really?
And it's not, it's kind of odd. Like it just becomes like way too, it doesn't stick
like
anymore.
too hydrated or something?
Yeah, exactly. And then like when I paint it, instead of it being like an actual brush stroke, it'll like congeal into like thinner, like
that's bad.
blobs of I don't know why it keeps happening. I found that like if I really shake it up, it can help like kind of, but it's still, I find myself making like very small things on the wet palette, like very small like samples of it.
I found that a little bit with even though it's like considered by most people to be the best Vallejo metal color paint. So yeah, I use very small. Actually, lately I haven't even been using a wet palette for that stuff because it's so liquidy, and I usually unload my brush on a paper towel before I apply it. Otherwise, it kind of tends to run and not go exactly where I want it to. I haven't really had that with Pro Acryl, but I mean, also I was noticing before too, like I have a different wet palette than I used to have, and it doesn't, not as much water flows up through it. I use the Redgrass one with the reusable wet palette paper.
Yep. Oh, the reusable paper. I just use the, I have a Redgrass palette, but I only use like I'm pretty sure their original sheets are just like parchment paper essentially.
They're thinner than that. They allow for a lot more water to come up than parchment paper. I also have the Reynolds whatever, the traditional thing that everyone uses for their homemade wet palette paper still.
Right.
So at the end of my paint sessions, I just take the wet palette paper and I wash it off. And so
maybe I should get something like that, just because
they sell it at Magic Stronghold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good ad for Magic Stronghold.
Yeah.
Local store of ours.
Everlasting wet palette, reusable wet palette paper.
Yeah.
Right there.
Okay. I will try and find it.
Yeah, it's great.
Bryce says, yeah, don't use metallics on a wet palette. You'll get metal flakes in the sponge.
That's true as well. Once I heard
haven't
that, I
had that
stopped
issue.
doing it. Yeah. Oh, really?
But, yeah.
I noticed that the metallics also will like leak through the paper somehow and go into the sponge directly below it. And
wow.
I've noticed that with some inks as well too. So I've stopped using the metallics on there. But yeah, I just use that little like tray that comes with the wet palette. But Boom Bee Tier Paint. Carson runs out of paint. That's a lot of painting. Yeah. That's true.
Just finished painting the Stonehorn, actually.
Yes, actually, I was going to say, dang it. I was going to say, like, why don't you, before the stream, send me the picture. I can show it on stream. A proper one. Get back into the meat dimension, you. Whoa. Just zoomed you right in. He looks good on video, but not as good as, like, the frickin' pictures that you sent. Like how you're not saying anything.
I don't need to say anything. I don't need to. Yeah, I had fun painting this one. I'm actually going to be painting a Blood Pelt Hunter next. There might be some interesting play with like his movement shenanigans and forth.
The Blood Pelt Hunter? Like the what's his name?
Yeah.
Lucy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know not everyone likes it. And I like what Matthew said, talking paint should change to a less controversial discussion like religion or politics. Oh, nice. I really like him.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cool. I'll be interesting. I'm hoping that he's one of those heroes that can like make it into a regiment without having to be the leader of the regiment.
Yeah.
Because supposedly he's still got his like not able to be seen outside of 9 inches when he's near cover. Terrain.
Skinks
really
apparently
nice.
are losing that, which is interesting. Really? Yeah.
Interesting. And then he's also got his thing where he can do a normal move in the enemy movement phase, which is also really nice. With countercharging being a thing, would be really good.
No kidding. And so when you countercharge, when does that happen? Is it the
end of the enemy charge
Okay,
phase.
Good.
So
otherwise that would be kind of annoying, right?
Yeah. But I was thinking like it could be interesting if I had like a Blood Pelt Hunter or two that was being used for like the new surround and destroy tactic to be able to move further up and guarantee that. And then in addition to that, most of the time when someone's doing like seize the center or someone's doing like, come to the side of the board or something like that, they can't be in combat. And then the Blood Pelt Hunter can just normal move up towards them and then countercharge them after, which can be pretty spicy.
Yeah. Sounds like there's a lot of play there. And it's very tactical and fun at the same time. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
They're viable. So, yeah, Bryce said he saw your Stonehorn in the. I assume you mean on the Discord, Bryce. Yeah, he did a great job.
Thank you.
I was thinking we should really have pictures of the stuff that we completed just to show on the podcast, like what we've been working on.
Yeah, just a nice background.
Yeah. Not as cool as this background, but still pretty good.
I see it's actually bad tactics-wise to go second in this edition. That's interesting. What makes you say that?
Well, I think it's because of the seize the center. Like, it's very easy to accomplish turn one.
Yeah.
Like, I saw them talking about that in other battle reports where they were just like, people are going to be going first a lot but I'm not saying that I will. I tend to go second, even like in 40K and stuff like that. Whenever I can, I prefer it. And it's definitely a lot better traditionally it's a lot better to go first in 40k, but if I ever can get away with it, I like to go second.
I think it's going to depend a lot, army to army, of course. Just kind of like how it always has. Well, I mean, I guess right now there's like a heavy emphasis that you should probably go second rather than first if you can.
You mean in third edition?
In third edition, yeah. But in fourth edition, I think it's going to be a lot more kind of iffy, like depending on what faction you're playing, whether you want to be able to do that. Because there is always the nice option of saying, okay, I'm not caring about a battle tactic this turn, I'm just going to table you with this double turn. That's a really nice thing to be able to threaten with. Sorry, my dog is very angry.
You just mean that she's there. Because if she's there, she's probably angry, right?
Yeah.
Did you just try to pick her up and she scrabbled away like a goblin?
Yeah. She skated away like a little rat.
Oh, man. She's hilarious.
Right, says it's because the default tactics are range dependent. Something like Fire Slings is going to struggle for turn 1 tactics. Yep, that's true. Default tactics are range dependent. Some of them are going to be stuff like taking objectives away from your opponent, though, or like fighting with 2 things and not dying with anything. Movement tactics 100% rely on like not being close to your opponent. So like the seize the center as well as take the flanks are both tactics that kind of require you to not be anywhere near your opponent. Those are kind of like cleanup tactics, in my opinion. And specifically, take the flanks is going to be one where I think you want to either do it turn 1 or later in the game, when you've already cleaned up your opponent. It's like a win war tactic at the end. But yeah, that's going to be something interesting too. Is just kind of figuring out like what is your battle tactic plan for the whole game, because I feel like a lot of people have it like wired in their brain right now for third edition and the current GHB. But yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, and like, but it's true that it might become like the go-to instead of taking the bottom of for turn 1, the go-to might become to take the top. But I think that just means that if you can figure out counterplay to that, you can really like what you're kind of hoping to do. It could really mess with people even more.
Yeah, I heard Hayward.
You heard wrong.
Sorry. I heard Hayward bring up an interesting point when talking about ogres, where because battle line requirements are no longer a thing, he suspects that frost sabers, specifically being like a 2 model chaff unit, essentially, is going to be like costing way less, just because there's no longer the fear from the designer's perspective of like giving the monster truck faction really easy battle line satisfying requirements, right? And I could see that kind of being the case for a whole bunch of other armies, where you like have these really cheap like Furies, Heartrenders, or Canary, like that sort of stuff, where it's like just really cheap, really easy for satisfying tactics, for, like take the flanks and seize the center, that you don't care about them dying or being out of position.
No, because they're just scoring you like copious amounts of points.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like thinking about like my current like third edition ogres list, that was one thing I struggled with the surround and destroy. Like I really don't want to be out of position with 3 things like that.
Right.
So it's not easy to do unless I've already cleaned up my opponent off the table.
That's a good point. I think like I definitely was like seduced into spreading out to get tactics when, like especially with Skaven, where it's like, well, this feels so easy because like I can just teleport and do all these things, but then I'm like I get out of position and then I die. I die. So
you died.
I did, and I didn't like it. So, yeah, no, I think you make a good point. And I mean, it's still like, obviously, like, everything we're talking about, we always make the disclaimer, like, we don't know yet. We don't know the full rules. We don't know anything, but it is fun to think about, and it's fun to theorize, because like you need like, I don't know. I think maybe this isn't true for everyone, obviously, because some people just like painting, right? But if you're playing the game and you're really into it, I feel like I need something to kind of mull over and theorize and work towards to get motivation for painting things, you know? Like, I really like the new Hell Pit Abomination, and I've got one. And you might not even be able to take multiples of them, like, realistically or feasibly, like, depending on how the regiments and different things work. But like, just seeing that cool combo with the Master Molder and the Hell Pit Abomination with all the healing it can do, like, it just got me excited enough that I'm just like, I wanted to paint one anyway, so here we go, you know? So I think that's cool. I'm glad you're painting your Icebrow Hunter. I want to see him. I want to see him all
Blood
done up
Pelt
fancy. Blood Pelt. What did I say?
I already have an Icebrow Hunter painted.
Icebrow. That's what.
Yeah, that's the fun cast one.
Right. He's the just beautifully sculpted. He looks brand new. Like, you can't even tell that he's not like a 2024 model, right? Like.
Yeah. Oh, totally, man. 100%. Bryce says, my worry is that tactics are actually somewhat difficult this time around. Yeah, I think gone are the days where you're going to be seeing someone who completes 25 battle tactics in a tournament as like the winner of the tournament, that being an expectation of them. I think people are going to be dropping tactics a lot, which is also going to make the calculation of taking a double easier. I think,
man.
Where it's like,
right.
Well, I can't do a tactic next turn anyway.
Yeah.
So I might as well just kick your ass. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What's the downside?
That's so true. Yeah. Playing Fire Slayers, it was like I needed to do Magic Dom with Arcane Tome. Some maps surround wasn't possible without allies on most maps. Wow. Yeah, and like, man, those are like two feels bad to me. Like I don't know. I'm not saying like it necessarily felt bad to you, Bryce, but like for me, like, I like to lean into the theme of my army. So like, if I were to play Khorne, I wouldn't like to take any kind of magic, you know. And I feel like that's the same for Fire Slayers. So to take Arcane Tome just so I can do a tactic, and then take allies, which I also don't like to do, to get other things, that just doesn't feel great. Hopefully that they've kind of, the nice thing though too is that like now tactics, or no book tactics, right? Or we don't think there are. So this is kind of like what a lot of people were really hoping for. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. Yeah.
Is each getting 30 final tactics a tournament? Yep.
30.
Referring to the Kairos once per game.
Choose.
You don't get
two.
to score two. You get to choose.
Yeah.
Choose one of two.
Even if one of them is something you've already done or failed.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it looked cool. Yeah, I was a little disappointed with the Lord of Change scroll because they lost the ability to like you take whichever is the bigger of the two numbers and it changes to that. That was so fun. That was one of my favorite things in the whole army. So, but people are saying they're looking strong. So, yeah.
Yeah, Weird Flame is an interesting ability. Like, they're getting some anti-heal tech, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, because there's a lot of healing now too.
Yeah. The ogres actually are looking like they've got a ton of healing. Because talking about leaks, like they've got we know that they have their battle trait, which is like a board-wide heal.
Yeah.
Supposedly the Maw Pot still does like basically a board-wide heal. And then the unlimited spell that ogres have is heal D3 and then +3 to objective control.
That's crazy.
So it's like, like people are like, no, I actually am not diseased. Thank you very much.
I like to think of
that.
I like to think of that unlimited spell as like some kind of meat T-shirt gun, and they're just shooting it into people's mouths, and they're just going, ow, ow, just catching it in their mouths.
Exactly.
What was it? What were we talking about just before that?
I don't know.
Oh well.
I'm on pills.
That's true. Look who I'm asking. Dang it. You can pick 2. Oh, it was Zeech. That's what it was. Nice. You got an American dollar.
That was really dusty for some reason.
I know what it was. I know what it was. You were rolling it up into a thing so you could snort some of your nose
It was
candy.
really powdery. I mean, dusty. It was dusty.
Yeah. It was really white cocaine-y. I mean,
I feel like if you're going to snort cocaine, it's not going to be through a 1. Right?
I mean, it's not as cool. It's not as cool. Okay, maybe that's how you do crack. I don't know.
Just snorting flour through a 1 bill.
Oh, God.
Icing sugar.
You might as well be snorting estrogen. You got to snort protein like a real ogre.
Yeah.
Snort protein powder. Yeah.
It says it's a super soaker full of beef broth. Yes, it is.
It's not just beef broth, because like that's what you have before you have a colonoscopy. Am I right? Oh, sorry.
Is it?
Yeah. You can, because you're not allowed to eat for like 24 hours before, but you can have like consomme.
Broth. I see.
Yeah. I remember all too well. Better living through chemistry. Book of sugar. God dang it. The comments are always good, but you guys are on fire tonight. Okay, you can pick 2 tactics for 1 turn or choose one you failed. Oh, neat. So you either one. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's what it was going to say. So, because the weird flame stops you from healing, like that stops Molder. Like the faction, right? And like the Hell Pit can heal up almost to full, or maybe even to full, with like the help of a Master Molder. So, like, that'd be huge. You just get 1 shot on them. It's just like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. You could argue like disease and weird flame. Like it works both ways.
That's true.
Like,
yep.
Yes, it does stop
your
sub-faction, but you are also stopping their weird flame or disease, right? Like from being propagated too much.
That's true, but like the Hell Pit, like healing 2d6 versus that's a pretty big deal rather than getting that one thing on that one unit.
Is it hero phase?
No, it's end of the turn.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, you could say there's a lot of stuff you could do for, you know, if you have like a hero phase heal of some kind, you can always rally first, heal like 1 pip of damage.
Yeah.
Which would just take away whatever disease or weird flame you have, and then use your heal ability as intended.
It's true, but a weird part of me too, though, kind of likes it because it's like traditionally back, because the Hell Pit has always healed on its own. It's like this unstoppable Frankensteinian monster, right? And so, but back in the old day, if it ever got hit with flame, it just couldn't heal for the rest of the game. So it's very thematic, but it's also, you know, it's got like interesting rules reactions, like or interactions. I'm not against it. I'm just kind of going like, I think we're all just kind of going like that weird flame is like more powerful than I think a lot of people realize, you know, because there's a lot of healing in this game now, you know. But,
yeah, 100%. And with knowing that summoning isn't really a thing anymore, like a lot of recursion is going to be through healing, kind of like what Divicus is saying in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So granted, we're getting a lot of like the set up a half-size unit thing too. Like that's becoming more common as well. Yep. But definitely a lot more healing, like you said. So a lot more anti-healing tech makes sense.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't know. I just really want to see. Like, I forget. Someone was mentioning something about the Skaven. Oh, that's what it was. Someone was mentioning how, like, in all the battle reports, like, it seems like Skaven are losing to Stormcast. Like, clearly, you know, whatever, the weaker faction or something like that in the box set. And my answer is always the same. I'm getting new models. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, more interesting than I am for the rules that we're going to get in the battle tome, like, fairly soon. I want to actually just, all I care about is what models we're going to get. Like, even if it's just like a revamp of like a Master Molder or an Arch Warlock or whatever it is, like, I can't wait, man. I just want to see models. I wonder when we're going to see them, you know?
I'd imagine
August?
There's a chance that maybe we see a preview at Homa or something. Like a preview of the next battle tomes to come.
Ooh,
But
that'd be cool.
who knows?
Although I don't think they can, because the voting on it starts on the 15th.
Oh, does it? Okay, so then there's probably like a good.
Or it's not voting, by the way. It's that whole BS thing where you send in the results of your battle that you did with Scaventide, but
yeah, so voting. Yeah.
yeah, like no, yeah, so voting exactly, like literally that. Yeah, Skaven are losing the battle reports. Didn't know that's I honestly, like, to be honest, Warpstone, I think everyone other than Kenrick has said kind of the similar thing. Once you start making battle reports, you tend to really stop watching them so much because, it's like that whole making the sausage versus whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I've been trying to like make myself watch battle reports, but yeah, I'm finding it more difficult. Like, I want to watch it more right now than I normally do because there's a bunch of rules that I don't know about and I can kind of extract things from it. Thankful went from +3 to cast on his War Scroll at full health to now he's just +1, eh? It looks like. And that's from a battle report. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really seeming like pluses to cast are being given out sparingly. And pluses to unbind even more so. I don't know if I've seen any pluses to unbind.
The only one that I've heard of is the rumor on Croak. Apparently he's +2 on everything.
Interesting.
Which is really rare, and he's still a 3 cast. But yeah, I really do. I do wish that they hadn't gotten rid of one of the casts on the Vermin Lords. Like, I know that anyway. It doesn't matter. But now that I think it's because of how the what do you call it? Like, picking spell lore. You just pick a whole lore now. Is probably because of that. But yeah. Oh right, the Knight Arcanum has an unbind bonus. I think I remember that too. It sounds right. Trying to get a better Ikit Claw model is going to be challenging. It's amazing. I totally agree with you, Jim. But if you've put together that model, it'll be tough not to make a more pleasurable experience because it is like the worst. Like, getting his claw to fit is like it's like a feat of engineering that you have to perform. It's terrible, and it's metal, so yeah. One of the Zeech subfactions gets pluses to unbind. Oh, neat.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
I know one of the Ogre subfactions is going to be pluses to cast.
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
It's kind of a big deal now. Like,
yeah, with Primal Dice being gone, it's much, much bigger of a deal, for sure. Supposedly, the Mop Pot gives out one more power level to a wizard, too, within 3.
To one wizard within 3?
I think so, but I don't know.
That's so cool. Like,
yeah, they're pretty nice.
They're kind of changing a lot of that stuff, hey? Like Skaven used to have +1 to cast and unbind near a Gnawhole, and now that's going away.
But then you got your recursion for the Gnawholes now too, right?
No, I know. It's frankly, it's probably better. As long as you can keep those Gnawholes out and about. Much rules. Spicy. Yeah. What did Bryce say? The goofy one is the Dark Elf on Dragon. Every time he kills a unit, gets +1 to cast up to 3. And he says, not that anyone will play Dark Elves. I mean, there's people. We have a friend of the channel, Mason. That's all he plays. He plays cities, elves, Dark Elves, or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it's not all he plays. He does play a lot of other armies.
Actually, that's true. I think he sold like every other army other than Flesh Eater Courts or something at one point.
I've seen him play Flesh Eater Courts. I've seen him play Nurgle, which he might have sold.
Okay.
And I saw him play the Dark Elves, like we're talking about too. Yeah,
I'm people. I think they're Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I've seen people who really like the Dark Elf models. Nothing super interesting.
Yeah, they definitely are one of the aesthetics of all time. Yeah. I'm curious to hear, like, I know all of these rumors should be taken with a grain of salt, but I'm curious to hear what is exciting people the most in their armies, like things that they've seen that they, that they liked.
I'm
Just
kind of
because there's a lot
excited.
of doom and gloom around the faction focuses, right? And it seems
Yeah.
like a lot more people are bouncing back based on these leaks that are happening.
And we kind of knew that they would too, right? I,
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't pay attention to the Slanesh stuff because I just I don't know, just don't want to. If it's bad, I don't want to hear it. If it's good, it's kind of like, yeah, we thought it was, or something like that. But the Leviathan is really cool. Did you see that? Like,
Yeah,
I've seen the War
supposedly
Scroll.
it's a 5-up ward within 6 inches of it or something.
Yeah,
That's
wholly
the void
within
from?
6, but it also has a 5-up ward.
Yeah. It no longer is on a 2-up though, so you can't
It's
say
on-
it's that
yeah.
like crazy.
But like a 3-up on like 16 wounds with a 5-up ward, and it hands out a ward to like nearby units. Like, oh my god! And it's got a lot of
It's kinda-
attacks. The fins and the
kinda-
jaws are put together. It has crit mortals. It's fun, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting though because like I'm seeing this in a couple different armies where you have these pieces that are just like, okay, it's time to castle up. You're gonna get like
Right.
crazy buffs if you stay in this little bubble. But then they have like other rules in the army that just directly contradict what that mentality is. Because if you
So
look
true.
at IDK, like they recently got a lot of deep strike stuff. They got some teleporting shenanigans. They have some super fast units. And then they have supposedly this new turtle as well.
Yeah.
That's just like hyper, castle piece. And it kind of seems almost the same with ogres too, where like there's a lot of run and charge in the bubble, -1 to hit in the bubble, -1 to wound in a smaller bubble, like that sort of stuff. But also +2 to run rolls, like wanting to be super fast, like spread out, that sort of stuff, and also being a glass cannon.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if the game is going to be like rewarding you for doing one thing or the other, or if it's always going to be a give and take. Like during the cadence of the battle, you want to be castled up for a little bit, and then you end up inevitably having to split apart. So
It's true.
get
I
that
mean, you
effect
might have
system.
them run around in like little like groups, like, but it also might be, like, what's the word? Encouraging you to bring certain units and certain sub factions that might kind of encourage around certain play styles like that. But yeah, either way. Yeah, the Leviathan has damage 3 shooting, and I think it's like anti-monster or something like that for +1 rend. So,
Yeah, 4 attacks, 3 damage flat, or something crazy.
yeah,
Ouch.
it's pretty cool. It used to have 8 attacks, but like with D3 damage, but I don't know. It seems like they're just kind of cutting out the fat on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a lot of the unnecessary rolling, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and like Nick brought up, the Agrodon Lancers are so much better and more thematic now. It's not like do this thing that you don't want to do, and then you'll get rewarded for it, but you'll still like lose all your stuff. It's just like if they keep fighting, as long as they keep fighting, they're gonna just be powered up, and that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
And it makes sense, too. They're just
Yeah.
getting like more and more riled up throughout the battle.
Yeah, exactly. Like your dog.
Well, seemingly nothing riles her up. And what I mean by that is that
She's
getting
unflappable.
riled up by nothing.
But then doesn't she also get riled up by things?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. But
Anything,
Agrodons
nothing.
don't get riled up by nothing. I see. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
I just meant throughout the day, she's getting more and more riled up like an Agrodon throughout a battle.
Yeah, until she just collapses at 8 p.m.
Passes out.
Yeah. Sockjack says, I think the leak was that the Mapod, I assume, gives +1 spell to butchers. No idea what the Maw Pit does. Supposedly the Maw Pit is like kind of the same, where you can garrison it. And that's kind of an interesting thing too, because supposedly you can't fight. So the rules for like garrisoning a terrain feature are not generic anymore. I think it's like per terrain feature.
Sorry.
But supposedly what has to happen is you can't shoot the guy out of the terrain feature anymore. You have to like kill the terrain feature.
Yeah.
And then he pops out, and then you continue to shoot him. So that's interesting because it's like almost like putting a screen on your hero,
Yeah.
where like it's like a one-time disposable thing.
Well, and it kind of made sense because, like, how are you shooting someone inside the Seraphon pyramid, for example?
I don't know.
Like I get that it was -1 to hit and +1 to your save, but it should be basically impossible to kill someone inside of a effing pyramid, you know?
I agree, and it also makes sense that they can't fight out of it anymore because it's not like
Yeah.
he's just like whipping sticks at you from inside.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of them make more sense than others, like the FEC throne, where he's just chilling. He's on top of his throne and he's hacking down at people or something like that. Like I get that, but
Yeah, that makes sense.
and he goes, "It's no use, Stormcast. I have the high ground." Required.
Bryce says Mob Pit I think extends his range to when it garrisons to the entire model. I suspect that that's people just saying that it just makes his base bigger.
Yeah,
Because
I think
it
that's
becomes the Mob Pit.
I think that's what it is. Right?
Which is true. It's very true. It's a huge model. And actually that brings up another point, which is that faction terrain deployment rules currently, or sorry, in 4th edition are wholly in your territory. Whereas I know stuff like the Mob Pit only had to be wholly outside of enemy territory, which
Right.
like severely reduces where you can place it down. So that's another thing to factor as well.
But like some of those things, you know, some terrain breaks that rule, like the
Well, the
knobs.
first knothole still has to start in your territory.
Yeah, the one that you get at the very start of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
You can summon more anywhere.
you summon more anyway. I see what you're saying. The pre-game placement of terrain. That's true. Good point. Someone said. The bell, the screaming bell gives us 6+ ward now. So does the plague furnace. It's pretty cool. The bell is interesting. So now it's still on 1 dice, and I hate that. Like, just make it 2 dice. Just make it 2 dice. Please, GW, just make it 2 dice. Right? But anyway, 2 caster, and then he gives us 6+ ward in like a bubble, like the Leviathan. Now you roll 1 dice. On a 1, you take D3 mortal wounds. On a 2 through a 4, so it's the most likely scenario, it's -1 to hit in a bubble. And then on a 5 or a 6, on a 2 up, it does mortal wounds in a bubble. So I think it's kind of cool, but I just wish it was on 2d6. It's just like it just really, because like 1 in 6 chance when you ring the bell to hurt itself, and you can't get a Vermin Lord anymore. So I'm expecting it's going to change, you know. I'm assuming it's going to change the price a little bit, right? But
Yeah, there's a couple things that are probably going to be going down in points as a result of summoning kind of being gone.
right,
There's also some trade-offs happening too. Like I know that, or I don't know, but I've heard that the Frost Load on Stonehorn is going down to like 360 points. But he's on a 4-up save now. He doesn't have a 5-up ward anymore. He's not going to be able to get the -1 to Woundora.
Whoa,
So it's like,
holy
yeah.
moly! Then you
and
should.
I think there's a lot of trade-offs that are going to happen like that. And also what Haywo was saying as well, like I said earlier, probably these like super cheap chaff units that were previously like battle line tax might be going down in points because they're not having the battle line.
They need to encourage you to actually bring them. They have to give you
Yeah.
a reason. Otherwise, it's going to just be like all the elite cool stuff.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to pay 40 points for a single Frost Saber. How about that? Like that's
How about
that doesn't
that?
make any sense.
How about you go F yourself? Yeah.
Yep. Yes, Bryce says the LRL one moves. The Shrine Luminor.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was good too. I was also reading Warpstone's comment. Can't kill someone inside a pyramid. I've got a barrel of warp fire that would disagree. You got a barrel? What are you doing with a barrel of warp fire? You should really store it in a liquid format, man.
Don't ask questions.
Idiot. Yeah, that's true. That reminds me of like a very dark and grim, you know, the flamethrowers in World War II when they were like going into like foxholes and just be like, bah! Yeah. Pretty. I don't know why I'm laughing right now. It's really horrible, to be honest. But there you go. Yeah. If you don't laugh, you cry, right?
Exactly.
Oh, and Ladivica says Loon Smasher fanatics don't have to pre-declare a unit to pop out of. It's just reserves. So look forward to 3 Loon Smasher fanatics popping out of 1 unit of Stabas. I really like that, and I hope that's true of like the Skaven Deathmaster and like, you know what I mean, like a lot of those other kinds of things that we've had in the past. Just like writing it down was like, okay, like, first of all, you have to like write it down. You know what I mean? And then you have this little like dance that you have with like people that you don't know. It's like, okay, I need to prove this to you that like I'm not cheating, you know? And your friends are always just going to be like, dude, I don't care. You know, like even if you're cheating, like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And so, but like, you know, like that's why I actually painted my different clan rat leaders different colored armors just to make it easy. So it's like he's in the copper unit or he's in the brass unit, like that, you know? And I don't know.
Yeah.
So I hope that's true of everything.
Yeah, that would be nice. But in general, like more things like that where you can't like sleight of hand your opponent or something like that. Or
that's true, because like if you're a bad person, then you're making the game worse for everyone, and if you're a good person, then you're almost punished for it because it's a pain in the ass, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that like the last couple tournaments we went to, I know Kenrick would just like
Cheated?
text me where his
where his stuff is. Oh, that's better. Yeah,
and I would always be like one or two tables over, and I'd like look at his opponent, be like, "Hey, Kendrick just sent me this message. I don't know if you want to see it or not." Like, $5.
yeah. You're like the YouTubers selling stuff, selling info.
Yeah, exactly.
How much is this worth to you? What was someone said earlier, by the way? I wanted to point it out. Oh yeah, Bryce said Ignith looks sick. Also, finally, Cities is a mixed army. I want all my guys fighting in the power of friendship. I love that. Like, I really like that, right? And then he said, leagues for COS have got me down, though. I don't know why I thought that was so funny at the time. But, I don't know. It still makes me laugh, apparently. It's just like, I love the idea. It's like, yeah, fighting in the power of friendship. That's what Cities of Sigmar is about. It should be. And I was like, yeah, totally, man. And I was reading that. And then at the end, he's like, but I'm pretty down about what I've seen so far. It's like, oh. Oh. Right here. You got me right here. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that too, Keith. Probably not what the Skaven get told as they walk out the door. Yeah. Yeah. Their life is much darker. Sigmar is Captain Planet confirmed. Have you ever seen that, like, what was it? Like, is it College Humor or Funny or Die or something with Captain Planet? It's really funny. I'm pretty sure it was quite not safe for work or whatever, but yeah.
I think I saw it was like Robot Chicken one or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's the one where he like comes like zip lining through the window and like glass shatters all over and everybody. And one guy goes, you got glass in my eye and my foot in your balls. And just
that show is so good. Oh man, Eric always brings up the one with Darth Vader where he's like, he's like, I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. And then Lando's like, this deal keeps getting worse all the time. And he comes back and he's like, I've got a chicken and a unicycle or whatever. He's like, you have to ride this around. This is he's like, you're altering the deal. And, he just goes on like that. And it's really dumb, but it's, I don't know. It all the Star Wars stuff is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something dark side.
Yeah. Go for Papa Palpatine. What's that? What's an aluminum falcon? Cities fighting with the power of friendship. Skaven fighting with the power of friendship. Yep, that's true. That's the new book, Skaven Tide, by Gary. Dang it. Closter. I'm going to go with Closter.
Cloister.
Oh, man. I think humans will get cheaper this edition, like Gits. Yeah, I can see that. Because they're like, what's it called from 40k? The human faction? Astra Militara?
Imperial Guard.
Imperial Guard, thank you.
You mean?
Yeah.
No, yeah, Astra Militarum. Yeah, which basically are the Skaven of 40k.
Kind of,
essentially.
yeah. I feel like GSC are also kind of like them because they're living underground and like...
Yeah, thematically
like-
anyway, but
Yeah.
numbers-wise, it's definitely
Numbers-wise,
Astra Militarum.
Well, numbers-wise, it's more like Tyranids, right?
Yeah. We don't know how many Tyranids there are.
No, I mean, to be fair, there's more Tyranids even. Well, actually, we don't know now in the Mortal Realms, but like the old law or the old rule of thumb in the old world was you're never more than 6 feet from a Skaven. Like they're in the trillions or whatever.
Right.
There's always more, but Tyranids, like, you're working on a galactic scale, so okay, fine. I guess you win. You know.
Right. Well, 6 feet away from the Skaven. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like,
I love that. Yeah.
I'm sure that's one of those on average things.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a fictional universe, so it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm just
exactly.
imagining someone like in some sky tower in the middle of like a floating island or something like that.
Right.
Like, how can there be? Or they're like in a gyrocopter in the middle of the air.
Yeah. but also they go through the pocket dimensions in between realms and whatnot. They're the only thing that got into Azir. Like, Azir is like this impenetrable thing supposedly, but Skaven are there.
They worm their way in.
Yep.
What plans will they ruin next? The Necro Quake happened because of them?
Exactly. I heard this really cool factoid that, so obviously there are more ants than humans on planet Earth, right? But apparently there are so many ants on planet Earth that if you take all of the humans and all of the ants and you weigh them, there are still, like, they weigh more. There's that many ants. That's crazy.
That was crazy. I believe it, though.
I do too.
Stupid amount of ants.
There are. I wonder if that's true about rats, though, too. You know? Like, they're just so successful as organisms. Eric sent me a message and he said, I almost stomped on a rat today at work because he was working in downtown or whatever. He's like, it scared the crap out of me. And he's like, but let that be a warning to the rest of you or something like that at me. And then I was like, it's fine. There's always more Skaven. There's always more rats. And then I told him about the other day there was a crow there was attacking a rat on the street, and I chased the crow away. And I thought, most people who look at that are probably like, what are you doing? Like, why are you helping out a rat? But birds are dinosaurs. Like, we are way closer to rats. Like, they think and feel, and they're good creatures, you know? I don't want them in my house. Right? Unless they're a pet. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably weirding everyone out now. Robot Chicken is awesome. That's how it starts. Yeah. It's how it ends, too.
Got the chat going on about the Cities of Sigmar stuff still. It's kind of weird that there isn't a real human hammer unit. Cavaliers are not a hammer of any kind, I guess. Do you mean hammers literally? Or
That's a good point. Huh?
I mean, I doubt it. That's a stupid thing to say. Sorry.
But like,
have we seen I haven't actually seen any of the Cities of Sigmar leaks, to be fair. So I don't know if there's any.
Yeah.
Illuminate me.
That's true. In real life, they're actually very nice creatures. They make great pets. The only downside is, like, apparently is if you own them as a pet, they get inbred enough that they tend to die, like, way quicker than they should. Like, they tend to get cancer and stuff within, like, a year or so or something crazy. So it's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying you should go find a wild rat and then
Yeah.
try to tame it?
Yep. First, clean it with your tongue, because that's the way to make sure.
It's a bonding period.
Exactly. You know, like a mama rat and her baby rat. You know, just lick them clean. hammerers who are missing their command model keywords. Oh. Hammerers. Oh, like the
they're talking about
Dwarden.
Yeah.
Ah.
They're just like infantry flat. Like there's no champion, there's no musician, there's no standard bearer or anything like that. So it's just a bunch of standard or dwarves just hanging out, just having fun.
I guess now it doesn't really make a difference because you're not issuing commands from command models.
Yeah, it's just one less attack.
One less attack.
And then for the musicians, that would be one less dice per rally, which is actually pretty big.
That's huge.
Because they're a one wound unit, right?
Right.
So and they're on a 3-up now, I think, too. The hammers went down to a 3-up.
Wow.
And then they count as one less because they wouldn't have a standard bearer, so they would count as 10 instead of 11 if they're all on an objective.
I guess it's because the models don't have musicians and standards and stuff like that?
No, they do. In fact, what's funny is on the war scroll that they showed, there's a guy with a horn. So they definitely have him. I don't know why they didn't add that.
It could be a misprint. Like I saw at least one thing that's a misprint so far.
What did you see?
I don't remember now. I don't know.
Fine.
I thought it was like a long time ago, and maybe not. I don't know. That's the problem when you have your feet in different camps. But like, I mean, what are the odds they didn't misprint a single war scroll? There's usually a misprint in every book that we've gotten. So like them reprinting and changing every war scroll in the game and they didn't make some mistakes, like I would find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm rationalizing my own mistake, but whatever.
I've had the little like roadmap for all of the releases up just on my screen, and that reminded me. I saw, and maybe I'm just like blowing smoke here, but like I was on Twitter and I saw like someone. I think it was Honest Wargamer was sharing out saying like, just so everyone knows, the battle profiles means points and whatnot. And then someone commented below him. They're just saying like, oh, so I guess a big stream is planned for Monday for like a huge overview of like all of the points and stuff like that. And then Honest Wargamer just responds with, yeah, or maybe even sooner, winky face. And I'm just like, is he going to do the same thing that he did with the core rulebook? Like, does he have these points? And he's going to be, going at it on Friday or something. So that could be on the horizon that we see him all sooner.
He's in the GW stable now, I thought.
Nope.
He's still not?
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
A speculation is maybe he's like friends with a store owner or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely friends with a lot of the different streamers, so.
I mean, he's probably the biggest AoS dedicated content creator out there, I think.
I think Warhammer Weekly's bigger.
Are they just AoS?
Yeah. They don't do anything but that.
He's definitely, I would say, more connected.
Wait a second. Honest Wargamer doesn't just do AoS either. He does 40K and he does the old world as well.
Does he? I don't know anything about anything. Just ignore me. Just ignore me.
Do you even watch Honest Wargamer? Did you tune into any of the worlds?
I did, yeah. A good friend of ours, Dan, was there casting alongside...
I subscribed during the thing. Did you see the video I posted?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Should I share it?
Sure.
Okay. It's not safe for work.
Okay.
It was so funny, though. I actually clipped it.
Where did you share it?
I shared it on the Discord, but it didn't come with like a... It didn't do like a thumbnail, like a preview thing or whatever. It just did like the link for some reason when I shared it on Discord. And... Okay, one second. Let me find it. And pause. Okay.
I found it.
You found it? Okay. So, here. Should I 3, 2, 1 it?
I've got it on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So, one second. It doesn't want me to put it. There it is. Okay. 3. Oh, wait. Did you unmute it, by the way?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Your wife is Greek? Greek and Puerto Rican. It's 2 for 1. Terrifying. I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah.
You're a brave man.
She's not into anal. You would think she would be.
She has.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone at home. Thankfully, the mic cut off whatever just got said there.
Oh man, I actually subscribed after that because it made me laugh so hard. It's just like, I can't believe he just said that. That's why I titled it, "What did he say?" One of my favorite streamers always goes like, "You can't say that," or whatever. That's what I should have put on there, but it was super late at night.
Also, Dale says the French Twitch Worlds coverage had 2.5k viewers, while Honest Wargamer had 600. It was more than 2.5k at one time. I think it was like
Whoa.
6k on the French stream at one point. They were completely crushing Honest Wargamer's numbers.
Wow.
They've got a good setup. The French streamers were at WCW as well, and when I was playing against Nick Tassone on stream, they were the ones that were kind of doing it. Their setup was like super streamlined. They had like pictures of the players, like to put as like
cool.
avatars. They had like this little app on an iPad that they were like having the players fill out to get the score going. Like it was solid.
But they didn't have that interviewer though, and that interviewer,
Yeah.
that wasn't the only. Like all of his interviews were entertaining, but that was my favorite bit. Oh man, they were making fun of the Canadians because we did not do great apparently.
No, it was not great.
But
this
maybe
year-
next year.
I think this year we came 17th. Canada did
Oh, out of 30 something.
28 or 26 or something.
That's
So
not
it's like
bad.
slightly below halfway down. But actually, there was a thing that happened where there was a 5-point deduction for Team Canada and Team Ireland, or maybe North Ireland.
What?
I can't remember whatever Ireland they played against,
Why?
either North or not. And the reason was because apparently 2 of the players racked up and they started playing their game, and a judge came over and informed them that they were on the wrong battle plan, which was
Okay.
true. And because of that, they issued a 5-point deduction to each team. And I looked, and it was actually because all the points are so like points are extremely important in Worlds. Like everything's super close.
Yeah.
I think it ended up bumping Canada down about 3 or 4 spots. They would have been 14th instead of 17th.
What the hell? Okay, like I'm not super into Worlds. No offense to anyone. Like it's a team event, so it's just totally different to me, and you know what I mean. It's not really my thing so much, right? But I want to tune in to support them because Dan is my friend, and I really like Dan. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's stupid. I think that's like beyond stupid. Like they're both playing on it. Like, what is like? Are you that like? Good God, that's a stick up your
Yeah.
ass, right?
I don't know. It's
But who cares? Like, who cares though? Like,
it changes a lot. Like,
but they're
like,
both on the wrong thing.
No, I know, but like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the reasoning was for a points deduction there. Like, I think there's a couple reasons why it matters, because like it could be that like one of the players was really good in that battle plan.
Okay,
like
but
their army was really good. I
But
know
they
they're
both made the mistake. Like,
I know.
Good
But
Lord.
yeah, there is apparently there's
down.
kind of like a couple things that came out of Worlds, I guess, that was a little bit contentious
Okay.
about like there's some like very to the rule like rules as written kind of interpretations of rules and stuff like that, which
Okay.
a lot of people had problems with. Like there's a couple instances of like one player, and I'm not going to name names or teams, one player forgot to pick their Grand Delusion at the start of the game,
Okay.
and then the other player basically just said, well, you forgot, so you don't get to use it. That kind of stuff. Other things like
Ugh.
piling in and then declaring that you're going to all-out attack, whereas rules is written, you actually have to declare all-out attack first. And
Oh
then,
man,
yeah. So
that would make me just not want to go. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
that's not great. And
like
by and large, it
that's
seems like
terrible
that's not what.
sportsmanship.
Yeah, it seems like that's not what like 90% of it was.
Jeez.
but apparently some stuff like that happened, which kind of sucks.
Like, and like if you're like your grand delusion, like you're almost always picking one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think that this kind of just boils down to you need to, whenever you have a tournament game, it's really important to just kind of have a quick chat with your opponent beforehand and say like, hey, this is generally how I play. And a lot of
Yeah.
people have like the I play by intent rules spiel.
Yep.
But the biggest thing is you just need to come to an agreement with your opponent. And if you
whether
were
you're
in
gonna
your
be
opponent,
a douchebag or not.
well, if you and your opponent basically say like, hey, I'm going to play exactly to the letter of the rules, and
Yep.
both of you agree on that, that's totally fine.
Oh,
'Cause
for
at the end
sure.
of the day, this is just between two people, right? This is how
Yep.
you're interpreting the rules.
It's not a video
And-
game. Yep.
Yeah. And I think that as long as you have that conversation, it's fine and it's okay. But sometimes the conversation doesn't happen, or if the conversation does happen and then one person doesn't hold up their end of it, that's when it becomes bad sportsmanship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think 90% of these things could be like avoided if it came to just having that pregame talk. And that comes to things that aren't even about like rules interpretations. It could be like, what do you consider a cocked dice? Because
Yep.
someone could
Yeah, that's
be
true.
like favorably re-rolling dice or not re-rolling them depending on where like what they're interpreting as cocked. Like I have
Yeah,
some players
I
that
literally
say, like,
don't-
as long as you're consistent, I think is the big thing. Right?
Yep, that's the only thing that matters. Like I don't re-roll dice when they land on top of other dice, as long as it's flat, because it's like, you know, I don't know, like it just hopped up there and it's flat. I can read it, so I just pick it off and put it down. But I know you usually re-roll them, and that's just like
Yeah.
an interpretation of like what you want to do or what is a cocked dice. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with all of that. I wonder if like if this format, like if teams just lends itself more to like douchebaggery, because like you're not getting like a sportsmanship score. You're not like, it's just a matter of points and like winning
There's-
versus losing. So
There is sportsmanship at teams.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's it doesn't factor into like the overall winner, but like there's like hobby awards and stuff at AoS Worlds.
Okay,
too.
but that's what I mean though too. It like, so like someone will win, like, oh yeah, you were the most fun, but it's not making like a difference in your individual sort of scores, right? Or even as your
Yeah,
as a
100%.
team. So it might just kind of lend itself more to that kind of 40K mentality, if you will.
Yeah, but I think that's just you know, it was an unfortunate thing that came out of
Yeah.
of AoS Worlds. I think
That's too
that
bad.
you know, going into next year, hopefully people kind of like take those lessons to heart and do a little bit better, have those pregame talks to
Yeah.
prevent feel bad moments. I see Dom said take 2 minutes and to help prevent feel bads, and that 100% is true. Like it doesn't take a lot of time at all to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And even when I was at WCW in Atlanta, I had opponents that didn't speak English very well at all.
Yep.
It took a good 5-10 minutes trying to articulate to me that that's how they wanted to play, playing by
Right.
intent. And it was very important that even though there was a huge language barrier there, we both kind of understood, you know, what the other person was trying to do.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
It's just communication.
You know, like terrain. Like it seems like now, like, so I back in the early AOS days, the trees were like the old wood elf terrain, the old forest with the 3 trees that you could pull out, and the rule was always you cannot go over the circle. You can pull the trees out, but your base can't overlap that circle because there's supposed to be a tree there, right? And then later on, playing with a variety of people, a lot of people just remove the trees. I know you prefer to remove the trees. But when you don't talk about it ahead of time, it's not good because it does create those situations. So yeah, it's a good point.
Sorry, I just read a
saw
comment where
dumb. Yeah.
Alex says we banged our meat sticks together while talking over our pregame expectations, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
For more context, Dom was my Game 5 opponent at Battered Bison. Great guy, great player. But I
Played
bought,
in the hotel, right?
Yes, we played in the hotel bathroom. No, I bought. There was like a 7-Eleven next door, and I bought some bison like jerky sticks.
That sounds
And
good.
it came in a pack of 2, so I gave him one, and we just kind of like tapped him together as like a little like Cheers! But we
Yeah.
just tapped our meat sticks together. And then we actually did have pretty, like, I would say more extensive pregame talk in that one, just because like the terrain was a little wonky. It was all like a bunch of shipwrecks, and we're like, I guess that shipwreck is woods.
Right.
Sure.
By the way, so did you notice that on the terrain rules it says that forests are considered to be, what is it? Obstacles?
Unstable.
Yeah, and they're going to be unstable, so you're not allowed to end your move on anything that's more than like half an inch high.
1 inch high.
Oh, is it 1 inch high? So, but
Yeah.
basically
So-
that means that you can be on the little like dangly bits of the trees, but not on the actual trees. So we won't be able to like remove them anymore, hey?
Yes. Well, yeah, but I mean, I think that depends on the tournament pack. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'd assume a bunch of tournament packs are going to be like, this is just area terrain.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you should treat the trees as, because that's what happened a lot in tournaments already, is especially if you go down to Sparkle Party, they don't have like those little slots that the trees fit into. It's just like a piece
Just
of
a
like,
little
it's
mat.
not, yeah, like a
Kinda,
little mat
yeah.
that's like see-through, and you can place the trees wherever you want on them, and then it's supposed to be that like you can walk through them however
Right.
you want. It's not a big deal.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And I like that a lot more, I think.
I do too. Because like it's not that hard to move through trees. Like trees aren't generally that close that like I could see like the argument like, well, a dragon doesn't fit here, you know? Like there's a park near my house full of trees. Like, yeah, a dragon might have some trouble landing there, you know? But like you could fit you could fit 5 horses, you know, in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, I played a game of like Scuff
Obscure.
4th editions against Matthias, and we realized that Kragnos can be like obscured from being shot. And I'm like, okay, Kragnos is in the forest, I guess, just projecting out his bubble of 3d6 to charge.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's assuming. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, assuming that like we have that. Wait, how is that true though? Oh, because he's not flying.
Yeah, he's not flying.
Yeah.
The only disqualifier
no-
is flying, right?
Right.
So he's just.
They might
if he-
change that
in the
though.
woods,
That might be
then-
like that whole, you know.
I don't know if he will. I don't know if they will. I kind of like it, to be honest.
I mean,
there's,
I
like,
like it.
Yeah. It's kind of nice that there's like true obscuring for some stuff.
No, I know. Like we've never had good terrain rules before, and I feel like this is the first time ever we've got good terrain rules. But I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it. It just feels a little silly. It's like to me, it just kind of goes back to verisimilitude and like the, you know, like moving clamshells of dire wolves up the field. That's more than anything. My regular gaming club, we usually have some area terrain mats and sit some trees on top of them. Yeah, those are great. Yeah. You think the dragon will find a way? It's pretty dense near my house. Like he'll probably just knock over a tree if we're being honest, right? But
Yeah, but it's kind of like walking around in a prickle bush, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
pleasant.
exactly. No, that's true. He might take one up the keister, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh man.
Hate that a Boingkraut bounder can't be hidden, but Kragnos or a giant can.
Yeah, my little like 4 wound, eels or 2 wound Boingrot bounders can't because they have the fly keyword. Suck.
Meanwhile, King Broad is just
I know. You can't see me, and like his whole ass and everything is like out of the terrain. Yeah.
Nighthaunt just doesn't.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That is insane. I didn't think about that. That's actually kind of dumb. Oh man, I feel like they need to do something. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, obscuring. That's crazy. I don't know, guys.
Asri says, ran out the tyrants for last hurrah over the weekend. They fought like warrior poets, but came a single 5+ redeploy away from taking the whole thing. Ooh. I assume that was your last tournament of 3rd? Well, I mean, actually, based on what I heard, you still 4-1 at that one, so congratulations.
Yeah.
Still very good. Forever 4-1 is a lot better than a lot of people can hope for sure.
Yeah.
That's but I Sorry it didn't connect in the end there for you.
Forever 4-1 am I. Thanks for joining us, Kenrick. We always like having you. Yeah. Man, just going back to that night haunt though, like that's wild. The whole faction.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah.
I think they might need to do something where it's like if you fly and you're X, like if you're infantry, should be okay. You know what I mean?
It is a little weird that it's like, can't they just fly lower
Yeah.
instead of
Exactly.
like, no, we must fly 40 feet in the air above the trees
Yeah, exactly. Then how do I charge you?
by going down after the trees.
Yeah. No. How do we charge them? They're 40 feet in the air.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they'll come down.
They'll come down to
Gently.
be fought. That's nice of them. Very kind.
Like, hey, you! I'm
Yeah.
declaring a charge. They're like, oh, 1 sec.
Oh.
Okay, come here.
Gotta let the air out of their hot air balloon bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
the
man.
sound of a balloon just.
I was thinking about that too, Bahamut, that ethereal means you can't modify the saves for sure, but obscuring means you just can't shoot them, right? If they're totally behind it or whatever, if they meet the qualifications. So,
Yeah. You also can't benefit from cover from. I know that if you charge, you can't benefit from cover. I'm not sure if you're flying, you can't though. Let me check that.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that won't change anyway for Nighthawk. That's true.
Yeah.
I did see the rumored Warbringer and the rumored Deceiver, Pat. They look cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited. And
Cover does not allow people who charged or have the fly keyword, and then obscuring
right.
does not allow only the fly keyword. Actually, if you charge, you're still fine. Which makes
okay.
sense because it's not like someone's going to be shooting you in the charge phase, right?
Yeah. Also, like, because it's melee as well in Sigmar, so if you're charging into, like, a forest or whatever, I don't know, some kind of terrain that provides cover to other people in melee, like, why? But you did lose it before, so it's understandable that people are going to naturally think that you can't get cover save because you couldn't last edition. But
yeah. Azri says going to be testing out some Dude Trust Me ogres this weekend. So much -1 to hit in fourth. Sad meat boys. That's true, but also some of that stuff's looking pretty spicy. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the Slaughtermaster rules where he gains like blood tokens every time something dies within 18 of him or something, and then he can use it to give an ogre unit +1 attack. And then there's a spell to give something +1 attack too. So you could have like 5 attack Iron Guts. And then it's like, sure, I'm -1 to hit, but come on. Like, it's going to be...
everything will be dead.
Everything will be dead, yes.
There will be meat cubes.
Yeah.
No, there's no new kit for Warbringer and Deceiver, Bahamut. He was just talking about, there's been a bunch of leaked War Scrolls. We kind of talked about it earlier, how people were selling War Scrolls from the GW program and whatnot. So, yeah, it's been interesting, but there's been some, and we talked about it earlier, but there are some mistakes in like those leaks and stuff like that, as Carson explained at the start. It's like playing the telephone game, and people just get things wrong like a little bit, and it happens. So, don't, if you haven't seen the actual War Scroll, take it with a big grain of salt. Like,
and even then, there's a non-zero chance that when the edition drops, there's like a day 1 FAQ.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The Croak changes look crazy, spicy. He's got a 4-up ward apparently.
Well, apparently the way that he dies is different now too, because you roll the 3d6 at the end of the turn instead of at the end of each phase.
Right, that's true.
Which is definitely a much bigger change.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that he resets his wounds back to 0; it's that he heals 18. So
Right.
imagine he's diseased.
Oh,
He doesn't heal
jeez.
anymore, right?
Wow.
So
That's
weird
crazy.
flame, disease, like that sort of stuff is just going to shut down his heal mechanic.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, so maybe he'll be cheaper too. You know, I don't know. Because if he's not healing every phase, yeah. But a 4-up ward,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
It is really good. It's really good. I kind of like it a little better though, where it's just like your damage sticks a little more. He's a little tougher.
Yep.
And there's counterplay to it instead of like there's kind of a feel bad on both ends where like if you plank 3 damage off of Croak and the other guy rolls 3 6s at the end
Yeah.
of like a shooting phase, then he just dies. That kind of sucks. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then
wish-
no range extension for Seraphon spells anymore.
Yes, yeah, I
that's
saw
pretty
that. And there's no. It wasn't just that. And there's no +1 to cast from it either, from the Astrolith Bear. I wish that Warpfire got Weird Flame. I know that's asking too much, but like thematically, you know, like Warpfire was supposed to be pretty horrendous. Whatever. You can't have everything, but I want it. Well, -8 days until Chaos Packs come out. Yep, absolutely. With bells on, my friend, I'm looking forward. I mean, I have an army in every faction, so I'm looking forward to every single one of them. Actually, especially the IDKs, because the IDK have like the least amount of leaks that I've seen of any of the factions that I played. So not a lot out there, which is funny because they don't have a lot of stuff. But yeah, yeah, he's not. I mean, so now the what are they called? The Saurus Guard. They give a 5-up ward to like the Slan or whatever, and like heroes nearby, but not to Croak because he's already got a 4-up ward.
Yeah, so they can't just be bodyguarding him, which is also really big. You can actually kill him with the chip.
Yep.
Or sorry, like shooting and stuff like that.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think he flies, so
Yeah, and then as who's it? Justin said in the chat, he's also not infantry.
yeah.
So that'll be big for. I think he'll still be -1 to hit because of guarded hero.
Yeah, I think he is, but it's good that he's like it's good for him that he's not infantry because like everything has anti-infantry words on their attacks or like, you know, heroes or whatever. So if he just has hero, then that's better. Or wizard. There's a lot of anti-wizard stuff out there too, actually. So
Yeah. Very true.
the combo of furnace plus clan rats plus one of the prayers is nuts. Charging is 60 attacks with auto wound. Yeah, or plague monks, right? Assuming they still
That's
exist.
another thing is that hordes are going to be much more sticky this edition.
Yeah,
With
no
bravery being gone.
Yeah, and like it's about time.
I agree. Like it's kind of
what
nice
was
that you actually
bravery?
have to. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
It's weird that it's like it was a thing and so devastating, and it's also weird that like it's like I spend a CP and ignore it, and it was just something that people accounted for all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have to sink a formidable hammer into a screen to actually deal 20 wounds. Like it's not easy to sink 20 damage into something, right? Without like putting an all-out attack in, putting like an actual hammer into it. Yeah. Also sticky hordes. Yeah. Ew.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Croak loses that 4-up ward before his book comes out. You don't have to. It's not 40 wounds because he rolls at the end of his turn, and then so like if you do 10, was it 10 wounds on average? He dies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just do 10 wounds to him. What?
You still need to roll 20 or higher, I think, on 3d6 with that in addition to it.
Yeah.
So he's in danger
but the
as soon
average
as you.
on 3d6 is 10.5.
Yes. Yeah. So on average, he dies if you deal 10 damage. You're right.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
So
So on average, if you deal 20 actual wounds to him,
yeah,
or no, sorry, if you sink before his ward save, 20 damage into him, then
Yeah.
on average he dies, which is fair. You know, that's a god model.
yep.
I think that's reasonable. Like that's more
think
than
so.
it's going to take to kill like a Lariel or like Nagash, probably.
Well, like the problem before with Croak, I think Croak was fine before, and just before everyone jumps down my throat in a vacuum. I don't think the problem was Croak last edition. I think the problem was Croak in Starborn with everything else. You know, like that's why you hardly ever saw Croak in Coalesced. He didn't get the -1 damage and all this other stuff, and so I brought him just because I loved the model and thought he was cool. You know, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. The Hellpit Abomination plus Master Molder. Yeah. Yeah, we saw that. We were actually talking about that earlier, Pat. Because they showed that in the battle report. What was it called again? That horrendously. You remember the Lumineth versus Skaven battle report that was like the first thing we saw? What did they call that?
Masterclass?
Masterclass. They call everything masterclass, and it was not a masterclass. It was like two people who like were probably given the list that they got to play. Anyway, we saw it actually come back at either full health or like 1 or 2 off. But there is counterplay, as Carson was saying earlier. If they get shot with any weird flame, there's a bunch of stuff. What was the other one you were just talking about? Other than weird flame. There's another thing that stopped healing. Oh, Nurgle. That was it.
Oh, disease. Yes, yeah.
Disease stops it. So, like, yeah, there's going to be some, it's going to be very matchup dependent. And there might be some, like, ways to play around it, too. Like, we don't know everything yet.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But yeah, Azra, you would have been there in person at the masterclass. That's right, because it was in Dallas. And I know Azri's based out of Texas, and I'm pretty sure he went to that one.
It was a master class and having fun on stage. I mean, I'm fine with that. I just,
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's the, my British ancestry and growing up in like a British household, but like that, I don't enjoy that kind of pretentious, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It sounds very.
Yeah. No, that's fair. These guys were the number 1 and number 2 at WCW as well.
Yep. No, they're really good, but like they just got given some rules and models, and you know what I mean? Like they had to use all the new stuff and like, or not all the new stuff, but anyway, it's a master class. Like you're thinking about like someone at the top of their game, like teaching you how to be like them, be the very best at it. And it's like they're just scrambling around in the dark like two virgins. Like this is not a masterclass. Like, and I'm like let's just give them that they were like the 2 best players in the world last year. Like I'm willing to just say that. This has nothing to do with them. This is just completely GW's naming convention that I'm going after, just to make it super clear. It has nothing to do with either one of them. But yeah.
I had a British guy say to me he doesn't like being called British because it associated him with Ireland.
What?
Never copied that.
God dang. Usually it's like people. The funny thing is God dang, that's funny. Most of the time, the people who say I'm British or I'm from the UK or whatever, they're only from England. Because people from Scotland and Ireland, I'm like, I'm from Scotland. Like they never say I'm from Britain, ever.
Yeah. It's funny how much like vitriol there is between people who all fit into like one set of islands that fits probably within our province.
It fits multiple times in our province. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fit Japan in our province twice.
Yeah.
And Japan's a lot bigger than the UK. I don't know how many times you can fit Britain in here, but it's a lot. Unfortunately, though, their roads go like this. So it takes about the same amount of time to get from one end of the country to the other.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's an
We
exaggeration,
have
by the way.
we've got like 2 roads here.
Yeah.
I think they're working on a 3rd one.
Yeah. That's just because we're in British Columbia, not Ontario, where the government spends all their money.
Yeah.
I forget, isn't there like 8 lanes going in and out of Toronto?
I have no idea.
We have like 2, usually.
Well, there isn't even technically a highway that goes into Vancouver.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's technically just on the boundary of
It's on the
Vancouver
boundary.
and neighboring. Because
It's
I
so
think it was
true.
like in the 50s or something. Vancouver said like, no, you can't put the highway here. Sorry.
So
Which makes
dumb.
sense because like you drive through Seattle where the I-5 like cuts buildings in half essentially
That's
downtown.
true.
And the
Yeah, I
traffic there
guess.
is abysmal. Like it's awful.
I can see that.
Not to say
Yeah,
the
the
traffic
traffic
here
is-
is great, but
No,
still.
it's really not either. But that,
I've
I mean,
also
that's
heard a lot
part
of
of
people
just
say, like-
because the bridges, though, right? Like,
Yeah, the bridges. But I've also heard a lot of people say like we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to bad traffic. Like it gets much, much worse than what we have. So not that I know,
It's-
but still.
it's
Anyway,
pretty.
this is our traffic podcast, everyone.
I don't know. Yeah, I just know that. Anyway, I'll keep it in my pants a little longer. Pretty sure that there are places in the world where people on opposite sides of a river hate each other. These are separate land masses we were talking about. Yeah, kind of. I mean, Scotland is definitely attached to England by, it's like there's just like a rough, like knee-high wall that used to be there like 1,000 years ago or something. But I mean, if you ever seen the meme about with what's his name, Groundskeeper Willie, you'll understand. That's all you need.
Azure says, isn't there like a little sliver of Vancouver that the U.S. accidentally chipped off and jealously clings onto? Point Roberts, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant how like Alaska like comes way down our coast.
It was our coast. It's not your coast.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe we like stand for that. Like it kind of bothers me, but yeah.
I think in Point Roberts too, the American citizens that live there, there's no like high school, so the students have to cross
really?
the border like
It's like
they
Bowen
have to go to a
Island.
border crossing 4 times a day because they have to go into Canada, out of Canada, into Canada, out of Canada
Wow.
just to get home.
That's so dumb.
Yeah,
Oh man.
imagine how hard it would be to, like skip school and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like 4 people in your
four
class.
border crossings.
Yeah.
And you have to explain to the border
Oh,
agent what
that's
you're
so
doing every
funny. I
day.
didn't even think about that. Yeah. I just like everyone would know each other too.
Slaps British Columbia. You can fit so many England in here.
Yeah. You can fit so many UKs in here. No, I know. Oh, yeah, anyway. Juno, I think... That's true, yeah. Y'all can have Alaska? I'll take it. I'll take it. We got the Yukon. We might as well have Alaska. Oh, man. You guys are being so funny in the chat. Right on. Well, I think we've waffled enough.
Yep. I think we've
If
got
you
a
made
title
it-
content ahead of us in the coming weeks, probably.
What's that?
So I think we've got a tidal wave of content ahead of us in the coming weeks.
We do.
Just with
The nice thing is we're going to get 2 of them before we do the next faction, like or our next podcast rather, and then we're going to get the other 2 after that. So it'll kind of be split between our 2 podcasts, which is kind of nice. I don't know if we're going to be able to cover it though. Like order.
all of them. No.
Yeah, like
no chance.
what are we going to do?
I think probably we're just going to end up talking about highlights, and then
Right.
we're aiming to kind of like kick off 4th edition battle reports. Hopefully spreading out amongst like more factions. Maybe like the first 6 will be ogres versus Skaven, but after that we're going to start doing
Yeah.
more factions.
Yeah, that's the hope. We're going to have some absences and stuff, so we're not exactly sure. But once we can start rolling out content, obviously we're gonna do that. It feels kind of bad because everyone's playing Skaven in the other battle reports, even though like it's not the love of their life like it is mine. So I feel like
How dare they?
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed, frankly.
Yeah. The legal.
Although, what am I complaining about? as long as I get my Skaven, that's all I really care about.
Yeah. Well, we will be doing the what's it called? The July 13th launch stream.
Almost positive.
Almost certainly.
We need, we're missing people in action, so we need to make sure that we can have people. But yeah, that's the plan for sure. A little more than a week.
Yep. But yeah,
Bad reports.
thanks everybody for watching. It's good to
Yeah.
see you again in the chat.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed Carson high on drugs. Little colorful pills. Anyway, guys, yeah. And if you made it this far, by the way, please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed and hit the like button. I should really say that at the start of the stream, but I forget almost every time. But yeah, thanks again to everyone, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.